The two of you enter the cavern. You see glowing stalactites to the left, a dark passageway to the right. There's a slowly flowing river that has a slight green hue. You're just right ahead of you, kind of breaking off your forward momentum. Walking up to you slowly is a very, very cute, small dog, a Shih Tzu. What do? Who wants to go first?
Pet it.
Hold on. Right.
I'm gonna feed it some treats from my satchel of yummies.
Okay. We're gonna roll. Stop laughing. This is serious.
Satchel of yummies.
We're gonna roll for initiative. Okay, you got 1.
Oh.
And then I think your great helm gives you a -1 or a -1 to animal handling.
Okay.
Crit.
So you got a -1. That's a critical fail.
Oh, God.
Okay, so as you reach for the dog, the case of dysentery that you got earlier... Come on, be serious here. The case of dysentery kicks in. So as you're reaching with the treat, you shit, and poop flows down your pantaloon leg, creating a puddle at your feet in which you slip. You slip in the poop and land face down in it, busting your shit.
Do I roll for embarrassment?
Hold on, I'm not done.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You bust your face in the poop, and then you start crying. You're crying so hard.
Okay.
All right, now Jay.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I told you I pet.
You pet? Let's roll for that. Hold on.
Immediately.
Okay, you got a 2.
What the?
So you pet the dog. The dog is very pleased with that. Then reveals its true form as an eldritch goddess.
Oh.
Gifts you with divinity.
Oh.
Raises your consciousness to raises your consciousness up to Dharma, where you are enlightened and feel the joy and expressiveness of all things.
Oh, the 2?
Will you stop, please?
It's not your turn.
And then your spirit journey is then complete, and you become one with the universe. Patrick, what do you want to do?
I smash your face with a hammer?
Let's roll for initiative. Hold on. So you pick up the hammer.
Uh-huh.
You go to swing.
Wait, what did I roll?
Hold on a second. You rolled it. Don't worry about it. So you go
That's how this works.
Okay?
You go to swing, but the poop on your hand has lubricated the handle. So the handle, you reach, you go, you pull it back, and it flies out of your hand, flies up into the sky of the cavern, and it crashes down in your head, giving you what's known as shakabuku, which is a deep spiritual thwap to the head that changes your perception, and you transcend dimensions and find yourself hosting a podcast about game night tragedies.
Yay, we did it.
I'm going to give you a golf clap.
That's good.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for, I guess, tolerating
listening to that shit.
That ridiculousness.
Literally.
Thank you for joining us again at Delete Everything Podcast. Another week of whatever the hell we do here. I am your host, Patrick Wall. I am joined by my co-host,
Riley Bowen.
And we have another guest this week.
Ahoy, friends. I am Jay Sheehan. It's nice to meet you.
Jay is here, and she's on a pirate thing.
Yar.
Exactly.
She's doing a pirate bit.
She's doing a pirate thing.
We tried to discourage the pirate bit, but it just seems to be...
It's stuck, guys. It was before you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know,
You can join.
I feel like she has...
Lost you, mateys.
She's got such a soothing voice. I love it.
That's good. I feel like it's going to bring us down to
I hope so.
That's okay.
I really hope so.
We're ASMR.
Again, thank you for joining us. Guys, if you are enjoying the show, please get onto whatever you are listening to, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, allow you to give us 5 stars. Leave us a review. Say something to us. Say,
Oh, I just learned today that on Spotify you can leave comments.
cool, do it on Spotify too.
I left a comment. It said, you can leave comments on Spotify? With a question mark and an exclamation point.
There's a name for that. I don't remember what it is. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
The question mark exclamation point?
Yeah. There's a name. There's like a specific. It's stupid. It doesn't matter. But yeah, anything that you guys leave on there in terms of 5 stars and reviews and stuff like that just helps us out a whole bunch in terms of just visibility, charts, things like that. And, you know, just getting us out there, getting us a little bit more visible in the hella
the podosphere.
Yeah, the super like just flooded podcast.
My ego
market.
loves it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even care. It's not even for ego. I don't give a shit. You
Yeah,
can-
I mean,
for
I
me,
love
it's
that for you.
you
I
can
meant
leave-
for
all
me
ego, yeah.
specifically.
Oh, okay. You leave a review and say all the good things about Jay.
Yeah.
You can talk shit about Riley and I. You can say how horrible we are. We don't care. If you leave
Fuck
5
you. No, you
stars,
can't.
leave 5 stars. Okay, you can say good things about
Listen,
Riley for his ego.
I'm a consummate professional. I'm a father. You show me respect.
I have no ego. I don't care. Say whatever the hell you want about me. If you leave the 5 stars, I'm cool with it.
It's just for me.
And yes, and good things for Jay too. Just a quick synopsis of what we do here at Delete Everything Podcast. We get together once a week and we talk about deleted histories, partial histories, things that we all knew at some point, but maybe we forgot about, things that we never knew about, things that maybe we know a little bit about, but we don't know all the details and the full story and stuff like that. And so we just try and get together every once in a while and talk about it and make penis jokes. And
Yeah,
that's-
mostly butts, boobs, peenie, vagini.
That is-
I was gonna say.
It's it's I like to say it's a history podcast disguised as a comedy podcast.
And I like to say it's a comedy podcast disguised as... Is this a fucking bit we're going to do every time?
I like it. It's cute.
As long as I get to tell you you're wrong every time.
Oh, well then it's a comedy podcast disguised as history.
It's
I'm
you're wrong. It is it's the equivalent of when you're having family game night and the
this
pizza
is
guy.
a bit. He's going to be doing this. He's going to like relate
This
it
is
to
a
the
bit.
episode every
Yeah.
time.
Chosen family.
It's like
not
you're
blood.
having family game night, right? You're having family game night, and the pizza guy knocks on the door, and everybody, and you've been waiting for it, so everybody turns toward the door to go. Oh, pizza guy's here, and while everybody's turned, you push your little Monopoly hat up the board just to and just to
Park
get
place.
just to hopefully I get a little bit further down the board, right? Boom, I do it. And then they go get the pizza and then they come back and then you're like, all right, let's resume the game. And you look down, you landed on free parking and there's a whole bunch of money in the middle of the board. That's the fucking history. You
Well, hold on a
got
second.
all the history now, baby. That's the bonus.
That's the most convoluted possible way.
No.
Yeah, sure, fuck it.
I'm gonna leave space for the intro.
You were doing it you were doing it for the comedy, right? You were doing it to get a little few extra places on the board.
No,
you
but
were trying to land on like
Oh,
Marvin
I
Gardens
get it.
or
I
something.
see what you're saying.
You were
But-
trying to get
and
like
then and then you just get some free
and then
history
you
with
end
it.
up, whoops, I knocked myself onto free parking.
Dishonest fuck.
And there's all this money in the middle of the board. That's the history.
I've
fucking hate
decided the
Monopoly.
safe word is leash.
Mm.
Move on.
Oh, so if you need to break the...
I was gonna make it lube.
You
leash.
would.
Lube.
Oh, those cartons that we gotta check.
So as we talked about at the intro there, tonight we're gonna be talking about game night tragedies.
Dun, dun, dun.
Game
Oh,
night tragedies.
Monopoly.
Yeah. You see where I want
We
this.
specifically asked Jay to
Not
join
like
us.
Friday night game night. Woo! We got the Tennessee buttholes playing the Houston Dick Cheese. And anyway, go ahead. Not that kind of game
Not
night.
that
is
kind
what
of
I'm
game
saying.
night. Not like not watching a game, but partaking in a game.
I'm actually rather upset that while we're recording, I'm going to miss the Saints game because I am an avid New Orleans Saints fan. But that's
Who
neither
dat?
here nor
I love
yeah,
that for
correct.
you.
did it.
Yeah, who
Good
dat?
job.
I love
bud.
that for you outside of this podcast.
Thank you. Well, people can know that I like football games.
Sure.
I don't want to
Yeah.
welcome that.
Jay,
family.
just FYI, there is no Houston buttholes or
I've been to Houston. There are plenty of Houston buttholes. The whole town smells like Houston
or-
buttholes.
or the Tennessee Dick Cheese or whichever
I'm
one.
sure it exists. That's
Well, I've been to areas of Tennessee and there's certainly Dick Cheese.
So
I
anyway,
love that you know that.
Grade
he
A.
had his share.
That's where all the grade A
Tennessee
stuff comes
Dick
from.
Cheese.
He's like, yum.
That's where the
Wash it down with a nice rye whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So we asked Jay to join us today because she, along with being a student of dystopian post-apocalyptic literature and psychological writing, an avid reader of fantasy, writer, and most importantly to me, I believe, she's a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master, and she's DMing the campaign that I'm currently a part of, and I thought she would be a perfect guest for this particular topic.
Couple of
Thank you for
fucking nerds. I
having
just want to
me.
watch the goddamn football game.
Dude, literally
Oh my God.
right before we recorded, Patrick was telling me he was relating a story
I was talking about
about a time when he
an
tried
old-
to do a dexterity check and he got like a high score, but the fucking DM wouldn't let him go all the way through with his move. That must have been, what, 10 years ago? He's still pissed about it.
It was it was easily 10 years ago, and I am still pissed about it. But I also understand that it was a very bold series of moves. The combo that I put together was just, it doesn't matter what I rolled, doesn't matter what my
It's giving
dexterity
ego.
bonus was. Yeah, it is what it
You
is.
said you didn't have one.
I don't
Okay.
anymore.
It was crushed.
like,
It
I'm not
died
bitter.
that day.
So, Jay, what do you like about tabletop gaming?
Oh, I love that it brings people together. That's my favorite part. Having all my favorite people in one room is awesome, but more than that, I love being a god. If that's not super clear by the ego comment
I
earlier.
was gonna say ego. What?
I
Who's
was
talking
just
about
gonna
ego?
say you were there when we had our first session. Do you want to know how I introduce every beginning of campaign? You don't want to know what I say?
Yeah, go nuts.
I say, I am a god. This is my world. You live in it.
Okay.
You can pray to me, and I also take sacrifices and bribes.
Dude, she's so bribable.
I am bribable.
It's crazy.
Really?
Dude,
Honestly,
Magdalena sacrificed a chicken to her in game
was
and got like
really
fucking.
What was I gonna say? No. She dubbed it. You want to know the name she gave me?
Yeah, sure.
Jesus.
Jeez.
How do you say no to that?
Everybody in the room's always a praise
It
Jesus.
was so funny. Oh my god, I was beyond myself.
Okay, so our topic tonight is game night tragedies, for a couple of reasons. One, that's just funny. Two,
It's honestly not that. When I start getting into these stories, you're gonna change your mind.
well, small disclaimer: we talk about horrible things on this podcast
Yeah.
all the time,
We make jokes.
and we make jokes about it.
We don't make jokes about the people who die, which there are some in this episode. But
We have definitely made some jokes about some
Yeah,
people
I
that
was
have
gonna say
died,
that is inaccurate.
but
British
only
royalty.
if they're stupid assholes for the most part. If they're,
Yeah.
if they're stupid assholes and they die, then we'll mock them.
We've made fun of some dead people, but most of them have, for better or worse, they had their reasons for us making fun of them. So
They had it coming.
I don't think we're gonna have the ability to make fun of any of the victims of these game night tragedies.
Okay, so tragedies specific, like lock onto that word. These are not necessarily fun little evenings around the table.
Yeah.
But thinking about that, we're about to go through a hurricane here in St. Augustine, Florida. Hurricane was
Milton.
Milton.
Yeah,
What a
Milton's on its way.
stupid
What a fucking
name.
dumb name. But I mean,
Of all the M names that were out
if
there,
we all
Milton, who
die
the fuck is that?
because of Hurricane Milton, I'll be kind of stoked on it a little bit because
The
like
first Milton in history
prefer-
that's
I
ever
prefer like a
instilled
Melvin.
fear in anyone.
I'd prefer like a Melvin.
Yeah.
Melvin would be
I
good.
feel like
Hurricane
that's-
Melvin would be worthwhile.
That's
I think.
not
Like-
that doesn't instill fear either.
But in any case, it's almost inevitable. There's going to be a period of time where the power's out.
Yeah.
I feel like hopefully not too long, but we got a bunch of tabletop games. So that's kind of what you resort to when
Same.
there's nothing else
Same.
going on. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, so there's obviously a grand history and tradition around tabletop gaming, going all the way back to, caves. Really, making dice out of bones.
Hot.
Before tables, there was tabletop gaming, and thinking about these tragedies, a lot of. That's like,
I don't know why.
put that on the cover.
I
That's
don't
a
know
good-
why that had like a delayed effect. Like it had to seep through my brain like fucking.
That's
I
a
don't know, like
solid
fucking
quote.
Wormwood. It's
That's a
just
solid. That's like
slowly-
a
and then
before
it-
tables.
And then I was paralyzed with hilarity.
In the
I love
mists of time. Anyway, but sometimes these games inspire violence, and my little take on the history of gaming actually is that it has the entire time. In fact, the very first role-playing games that found their way to the tabletop, got a couple of games here. One is called Kriegspiel.
Ooh, Kriegspiel. We all remember that
Kriegspiel.
one.
You a big fan of Kriegspiel?
Mm-hmm.
You might be after this. So Kriegspiel is a genre of wargaming developed by the Prussian army
Oh god.
in the 19th century. This is like your first TTRPG, okay? Because think about if you watch any movie where there's like siege warfare or Game of Thrones or any shit like that, and you'll see like the table with the map on it, and people are like, oh, so my armies are here.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll fucking stack all their shit up. So the Prussian army was like, we can use that as a training device. You know, you get the stick that you like push them all around. Yeah, we just do a flanking maneuver around the Andal.
That's just
Like
that's
shuffleboard.
wargaming.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Even
wargaming.
seniors know.
That is wargaming, exactly.
Our military does that every year, baby.
Right. So, you know, like games like Strategio. Now we got Kriegspiel in the mix here.
I thought it was Stratego.
Strategio?
Is it Stratego?
Stratego.
It could be Stratego.
Could be Stratego.
Leash. Move on.
Maybe we need Jay here every week. Jesus.
So yeah, games like that, those are all based in like your original siege warfare training, right? And then over time, you get to games like Braunstein.
Ooh,
I don't know about that
big
one.
Braunstein fan here.
Braunstein is an experimental game and game genre introduced by a guy named David Wesley,
Okay.
who we'll talk about a little bit more in a second here. He was a member of the Midwest Military Simulation Association. Right, this is pre any kind of like role playing game. This is a military man.
When are we talking about this?
This is 1960.
Okay.
So
All right.
in 1960, Braunstein was a game that he developed where he had essentially he'd bring in like 10 players, right, and give them all different roles in a fictional town called Braunstein. And then he would simulate through conversation and like action a siege on the town.
Okay.
So it'd be like, you're the shopkeeper, right? But you're the fucking cheesemaker. You're over here, you're the armorer. And it's like, oh shit, you just found out you got about 3 hours until fucking the army's at the gates and they're going to kill you and all your loved ones. What do you do? Right?
Okay.
So the initial people that played this game, at first they're like, oh fuck, I don't know. They really, really tried to be constructive. After a while, they were just like, I don't know, I fucking stabbed the shopmaker. I want to take his shit. I want to get out. So it was like kind of a failed experiment, but it led itself into this whole world of like, oh, if we just kind of like dick around, we can have a lot of fun with this.
It's giving Westworld.
It is very
You guys
much
ever
so,
seen
yeah.
that? It's a masterpiece.
I have not.
The first season.
I started to watch it and I was
Only
kind
the
of like,
first
so
I
season.
can't.
No,
I
just
can't
watch the
right
first
now.
season.
I've got
It's worth it.
I have a small comment on that. Second season, right? The first season, they give you a twist you didn't see coming, and you're like, "Fuck, they're never gonna get me with that again."
It was awesome.
Then in
Okay.
the second season, they get you with the same twist. That's
Crazy.
fucking genius.
So crazy.
I just don't think like I tried watching it, and I don't think sometimes like you try and listen to like a band for the first time and you're like ugh, and then you come back to it later on and you're like, oh okay. Like sometimes I think you just have to be in like the right frame of mind for certain media, whether it's music or movies or shows or whatever. So I do remember like starting it, and I think this was like back in like when Game of Thrones was still like.
I think it was like 2019,
really cool.
2018, 19.
Yeah, and I think it's like Game of Thrones had just ended, and I was like, all right, well, shit, what's and like some of my friends had already been watching Westworld, and I was like, oh, they say this is cool, so I guess I'll try it. And I watched like halfway into the first episode, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, and I can't right now. I just
You
got
gotta
done
commit.
watching. Yeah,
You gotta
well,
get to episode 2.
probably
Oh, yeah.
now if I went into it with the mindset, but I was like,
So
oh,
good.
Game of Thrones is
I wanna watch
over. I don't
Westworld
have
again
I don't have any Game of Thrones for a year now. Like, I guess I'll watch this shit.
I'll
And
watch
I just-
anything
yeah.
where Anthony Hopkins plays a pseudo senile, aloof, godlike being.
Okay.
Truly excellent, let me tell you.
It could be said that he's playing a tabletop strategy game in that show.
That's why I brought it up, dude.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So Braunstein, right, has a few different developments. At one point, our guy Gary Gygax from the original.
What are these names?
You don't know Gary Gygax?
No, I can't say
What?
I do.
Oh, okay. Hold on. So Braunstein, hold on a
Okay,
second.
You're
So
gonna find out now.
Braunstein goes through a few different developments. David Wesley did a few different iterations of this Braunstein idea, right? And like a couple of the iterations would be like, it's an island on the eve of revolt, or but like these different military style situations, and they started getting picked up
That's
by
right.
like different military installations and institutions that actually teach, like West Point and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude,
But
like war games.
it
That's a
infam-
big thing.
Yeah, hugely. And it infamously made its way to a couple of like strategy gaming tabletop conventions that were around, and got picked up by a guy named Gary Gygax, who was the developer of a tabletop strategy role-playing game called Chainmail. Chainmail was the direct predecessor of his next creation, Dungeons & Dragons.
That's
So-
why we both said what
Yeah.
when you said you didn't know who
Sorry,
Gary
sorry,
Gygax
sorry.
was.
Yeah, so
Familiar
Brownstein.
now.
Brownstein was the inspiration for chainmail. It was developed by the Lake Geneva Tactical Studies Association, or the LGTSA, which is Gary Gygax's group of fucking nerds in a basement.
Oh yeah.
Love that.
And
Yeah, that's a big
Love
thing.
that.
they put chainmail together, which is a much more military based, but also something that you could still play, which could be fucking fun to actually do one of these days. And released Dungeons and Dragons created a crazy like explosion of titles and topics for different tabletop role playing games.
Cool.
Like I got a little list here. There's a game called Polaris, in which you play elves on like an Arctic compound being attacked in like a 100-year-long winter or something. Primetime Adventure, which is a good one. Both of these, no DM. You don't get like a god who's like ramping everything up. They kind of like turn-based. But then you've got Gamma World, Boot Hill, which is like a western, like Westworld. Empire of the Pearl Throne, Champions, Justice Incorporated, fucking fantasy hero. This shit goes everywhere, becomes super, super popular. And then actually kind of dies out in the 90s, but then comes back pretty strong in the 2000s with the current generation. And that's where we are now.
Oh, cool.
A little bit of history.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the war gaming of it leading up to today.
Sick.
And then at some point, somebody made the game Sorry, and then everybody wanted to kill each other over it.
Well, that's the tabletop angle. Everybody's always been playing games. You're gonna have
Yeah.
fucking Hasbro's Sorries. You're gonna have Operation Hungry Hippos.
I'm a menace in Sorry. I am an absolute my whole tactic isn't even to win. It's just to piss everybody else off.
There are
Only in that game. Only in that game.
hundreds of different like genres. Anything from card games to tactile dice rolling games to you get the
yeah.
weird device. Your Hungry Hippos. Or
I'll pause this bitch right now if somebody's
Icebreaker.
got an Uno deck. Like
We got Uno in the other room.
Oh, stop it.
I'm a Trivial Pursuit guy myself.
Okay.
Love Trivial.
I'm not up on the trivia as much, so that one always kind of.
I beat you, you fucking loser.
Yeah, I'd admit defeat right now before you even went and got the box.
Well, yeah,
You
we
know
got-
more about
Way
trivia.
to be
Like
a sub.
pop, he knows more pop culture shit than I do.
It's really all I got going for me.
But they have like science
If we-
and other
If
options. You're
if we get some
underselling your
geography
intelligence.
questions, you're fucked, Buster. But
I know geography.
not like I know geography.
I know where the Holy See is.
In the
Like,
middle of
was
that
vaguely
boot
sexual.
over there.
That's funny.
Holy See is not a sea, incidentally.
No.
I found out it's a small
Is it
town.
a river?
No, it's the Vatican.
It's the Vatican.
Been there.
Yeah,
Really?
it's Rome.
Yeah.
Shit.
Crazy.
What's it like?
Grandiose.
It's short for the Holy Catholic Church.
The
Yeah.
sea? I thought it was like SEE.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know.
the Holy
I have
CC.
questions.
Fuck you.
Okay. Leash. Continue.
Holy, see how crazy some of these game night tragedies are, dude.
Oh my god.
That was the topic, right?
Oh my god.
That's pretty bad. I love it.
We're a fucking history podcast. I want to put a little bit of historical context into some of this before we leap directly into whatever the fuck.
But we also do sort of things that people don't know about, which is like everybody is familiar with having a game night with friends or family or both, and shit gets heated, and
You
before
murder
you know
them.
it,
You
I
murder one of
remember.
them.
I remember. So obviously, I come from a family of fucking a bunch of Brazilian women. So I remember us all being on vacation, and we were I don't even
Specifically
fucking remember.
Brazilian women, no men.
Well, no, my dad's not a
was-
Brazilian man.
It was immaculate conception.
But we were in. So this is back when we lived in Louisiana. We got like a beach house in Pensacola, and it was like me and like my family, my little sister, and like a couple of aunts and uncles, like a couple sets of aunts and uncles, and all the cousins and stuff. We got this big ass house right on the ocean, and I remember my freaking mom and my aunts and like my dad and my uncles were like out on the porch like drinking beers. They're like, this part of the porch, like, you fuckers don't come over here. We're just drinking beers and smoking cigars and shit. All the ladies were, so like 4 Brazilian women were all sitting around, I think playing Uno, if I remember correctly. But I remember like shit about popped off with all these Brazilians. Something happened. I don't know. I just remember me and my cousin going like, are our moms going to fucking kill each other? Like what's about to happen? And we like, I mean, I was probably, I don't know, fucking 8 or 9 years old.
Fucking chanclas start coming off.
Yeah. You can't. Chancla negates another chancla. You can't double chancla.
No, it's like a duel.
Yeah.
But it just sounds like
Not both feet, just one.
So,
just flip that.
but yeah, I mean, and everybody's got that story. Maybe not that specific story, but everybody's got a fucking heated game night story.
I grew up in Michigan, and the Michigan aesthetic outside of like the cities of like Detroit proper is very playing like euchre. You guys know euchre?
No.
It's a card game. There's a lot of fucking old lady ass card games that are very popular in Michigan.
I'm
so
familiar with euchre.
many an evening, you fucking just like in a quiet house, no like music or anything playing, just like fucking playing euchre with grandma.
Mine was
You
Old
and Grandma?
Maid.
Old Maid?
Old Maid is
Old
like yeah.
Maid,
So I
yeah,
think
pretty basic.
they're all kind of like spin-offs of Rummy. I think.
It's the same shit. I don't.
Yeah.
I honestly, I take my Michigan card away, but I don't remember how to play euchre.
Okay, that's fine.
There are at least 5 people listening to this in Michigan that went, what?
You son of a bitch.
What?
Let's
Well-
hope for more.
Never come back.
Let's jump into some game night tragedies that will make our stories pale in comparison, shall we?
Sure.
Yar.
So,
Look at just keeping the pirate bit going.
It's okay. By the end of it, I'll have all y'all saying yar.
You should have said my game was rummy.
wow.
Honestly, you're gonna wake up tomorrow and be completely in pirate mode. You're gonna be like, "Oh God, what did she do?"
So it'd be like, who wants to play Sorry?
You wake up, you already have your eye patch on. You're like,
Yeah.
"Dang!" You get up, you're like, "Oh, where'd that peg
Somehow,
leg come
yeah,
from?"
somehow half of my leg is missing. There's just a broomstick hanging out of it.
Big fan of the game Operation
Yeah.
because it's on a dead man's chest.
Oh God,
Oh,
Jesus.
God, very cute.
Alrighty, so I want to set the stage for this first one because it's a real bro down situation, and I feel like it's not a situation. It's like not a game that we're all thinking like, oh, a tabletop game.
Mm-hmm.
But it is literally a tabletop game, not a board game. But we've all had, that night. You listen. Here's the night. All right,
Fucking
you guys ready?
Chess.
You guys ready?
Chess is a war game too. I should have said that. Fuck me.
It's fine.
You said it now.
All right. So I want you guys to all think about. I'm setting a stage here, right? Okay. We've all had one of these nights. You're 17 years old,
Should I
right?
play some music? You want me to play like music to this?
No.
Yeah. Or want me to hum something?
I just want you to
The
envision.
wind.
I just want you to envision this. I want you to envision this, right?
Time.
Are you ready to envision? Or
I'm
you
ready.
gonna
Honestly,
keep
we've been waiting.
Okay. So
You're holding us up.
Yeah, for real.
you're
God,
seven-
it's good to have another person.
you're 17 years old, right? You're hanging out with some dear friends. You live in North Tonawanda, New York. We've all been there. And it's mid-October in 2013.
They'd call it no-toe.
So presumably you're already under 5,000 feet of snow. So we've got the stage set, right? North Tonawanda, by the way, is
No-toe.
in Niagara County, New York. It's like literally you're on the Niagara River.
Oh, shit, then
It's
I have
like
been
right,
there.
It's right there. It's
I
like
may have,
it's like the greater Buffalo area.
like the Great White Buffalo area?
The greater Buffalo area, not the great white buffalo hare.
I'm sure somebody knows. Continue.
So the stage is set, right? Now we are going to talk about a young man named Jordan Wankaski, right?
Yikes.
I pulled up the one photo of this guy. He's kind of this is his mugshot from when he got arrested in 2013, right? So he's a pretty squirrely looking fucker. He's 17 years old. He's got Bieber hair, which I guess is like semi-appropriate for 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only found the one mugshot of him. And obviously in a mugshot, you're clearly in trouble. So you're not. Here's the thing. It's not difficult to look at that photo of him and like imagine him being one of those smug little asshole 17-year-old kids that like talk shit to like adults, like because he's like, well, what are you going to do? Can't touch me. I'll call the cops. You'll get arrested. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. He looks like the kind of kid who says like, suck my dick to his mom whenever she like asks
he's
him
a
to do
dweeby
something.
little
He's
fuckhead.
one
Yeah,
of
we
those
get it,
kids. He looks like that kid. I don't know that he is that
He's
kid.
the
He might be-
embodiment of that kid that called me the N-word on Grand Theft Auto that one time.
Yikes.
Exactly.
I feel like we're going to find out why he's that kid.
Well, yes, you are actually. So we don't have a whole bunch of details of the story because it's kind of involves a bunch of minors drinking and there's a crime committed and
Be
they have
careful when you
laws.
mention minors, man.
Like from a mine?
Yes, they all came up out of the mines.
With the Tommy knockers?
Oh
Yeah.
no, with the cats. Oh my God.
Yeah, they all came out. They all came out
Yes.
to by the way, to play beer pong.
Okay.
Bunch of young underage children drinking,
Classic.
Scallywags.
playing scallywags.
Wow, you're really
Playing-
admitting.
playing beer pong. And so obviously we have laws a lot about, so we don't have a ton of details because there's laws, and a lot of this shit gets sealed when underage, under 18 people. I'm not going to say minors anymore because apparently
Like from
It's
a mine.
inappropriate.
Yeah, they're pickaxing at some ore under the ground. So so they're all hanging out and they're playing beer pong, right? There is this Jordan Wankaski fella and his buddy Andrew Huffman, who's also 17 years old, right? These two kids are playing a beer pong match.
Yeah.
Is it a match? Is that what you call it?
It's a match if
Jay.
there are other people watching.
Jay, what is it called?
I don't know.
Jay, you look like a huge beer pong player.
Really?
No.
That's what I thought.
So they're playing beer pong, and Wankaski loses. These are the
Fucking
facts that we
nerd.
know. These are the facts that we know.
Sucks, brick.
Not my ego. Oh God.
Yeah. So Wankaski loses. Allegedly, there's a bit of a kerfuffle
Kerfuffle.
between the two
Thank
of
you
them.
for saying that.
Did you see it coming?
I did.
Nice.
On this podcast, we say conflagration.
Conflagration. The great
Wait, can we take
conflagration.
a second for the penis there?
Oh, we got a dick up there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We got a dick in the room. Don't
There's a
worry about
penis in the studio, everyone. It's a very
Just one?
tiny.
it. I think it's soap
I
still.
feel like
Very
you guys just dropped some news on me.
There's just a dick
Okay.
up there. Yeah.
Just one.
It's a very tiny, like, ivory penis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not real ivory, I hope.
The listeners know what I mean. Continue.
Fills the room with little dick energy.
So, so there wasn't enough.
Hi-yo!
So there's a bit of a
Kerfuffle.
A kerfuffle, yeah.
Conflagration.
There's some flack. There's some flack in the
Shit going down.
in the 17-year-old beer pong community in North Tonawanga. So these kids have a beef. I think there was a small fight that got broken up, right? So our guy Wankaski goes inside, goes wherever the kitchen is, goes to the kitchen, grabs a kitchen knife.
Inside.
We're in.
What, you think the
following-
kitchen's
leash,
outside?
leash, we're
Okay.
following.
We're on the Canadian border in October, man. We're like it's
He's like
cold.
the igloo is
The
outside.
kitchen's outside?
No, where the beer pong. I'm used to Florida, where the
Ice,
beer pong
baby.
table is in the
Dun, dun,
garage.
dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
I
dun,
see what you're saying.
That's
Goes in. He
valid.
may
I
have
would
already
not
been
have thought of that.
inside.
They may have already,
Okay.
but they were probably in a basement. We don't have
I just
those.
heard you say went inside to wherever the kitchen is, and I'm like, what? Yeah, probably inside.
Leash.
So he goes to the kitchen, right? He grabs a knife, 7-inch blade on this knife, right? He goes
Bigger
back.
than him.
He goes back. He goes back to attack Andrew Huffman, stabs him twice on the top of the head,
Damn.
once in
right
the
for
back of the head,
Oh God.
and once in like the neck/upper shoulder area, right?
Jesus Christ, that's not being funny. That's really visceral.
Yeah.
Fucking head
Yeah.
stab.
I'm imagining the entire thing.
I'm imagining like he jumped, like monkey jump, like grabs onto him with all four limbs, and just like, like just with this knife wherever he can get him. But however it went down,
Over beer pong.
over
Damn.
losing beer pong, and then getting into, I guess, a verbal disagreement and maybe like a pushing disagreement. I don't think there was nothing that I could find that said that came to blows.
Ass loser.
There's nothing that said it came to blows, but yeah, then
No, it
goes
just came
to
to
the kitchen. Yeah,
stabs.
goes to the kitchen,
That's horrible.
grabs this knife, comes back, not twice in the top of the head, twice in the top of
That's
the
how it
head,
sounds.
once in the back of the head, once on the top of the shoulder, like right where the shoulder and the neck come. By the way, that's
The deltoid?
Ow.
Deltoid
yeah,
region?
the top of the
Yeah.
sure, whatever.
In the neck body.
Yeah.
What?
So, but I mean, you got to figure right here. Like, you're not far away from killing somebody.
No, that's...
You're within an inch or two of like.
Really? The last blow is what you're like, yeah, that kills somebody, not the fact that he started with his head.
Well, I mean, I think
I mean,
he just.
the head, you figure the
The
skull's
brain.
gonna stop
Well,
a
it's
It's
knife.
a
gonna stop a
7-inch
knife.
knife.
Well, he couldn't get the whole 7 inches up, could he?
No. You got to have some force to go through a skull. There's no.
He was
I mean, that's-
angry.
I
He
guess.
was angry.
He has some beers.
Although in the back of it,
Hulk
the one that he stabbed in the back of the head, I mean, that you could have gotten brainstem there if you got right there between the spine and the base of the skull.
Yeah, especially if he wasn't loved as a child. It's underdeveloped. It's soft.
Well, we're not going to say anything bad about Andrew Huffman.
Yeah, we don't know about him.
We don't know. We don't know.
I know he's a fucking
Is he
badass
dead?
beer pong player.
Wait,
That's
is
all
he
I
dead?
know.
Did he die?
He did not die. He required a bunch of staples. He left the hospital that night with a fuck ton of staples in his head.
Dang.
And
Beer pong champion.
And
Can't take that away from him.
reigning beer pong
Definitely.
champion. Jesus Christ. North Tonawanga beer pong champion, baby.
Jesus.
Jesus.
So when Kasky runs, right after this all goes down, he runs away. Ran around for about an hour in the cold ass. By the way, I actually looked up October in 2013 in North Tonawanga, what the snowfall was. It didn't snow, so it's cold,
very,
but it's
very in depth.
It's
That's
cold,
good.
but it's
chilly.
I looked. It's definitely chilly. 100%
No
cold as
snow.
shit. But he runs away. He gets caught by the police like maybe an hour later, right? So
He's a drunk child running around covered in blood.
yeah, right. You would imagine, yeah. So he is he's arraigned in North Tonawanda City Court on charges of second-degree attempted murder, second-degree assault, and criminal possession of a weapon. By the way, everybody who was there, all these other children who were drunk and watching this go down.
Oh, there were more people there?
Yeah,
a party.
It was like a little underage
Can't
party.
have beer pong with just two people.
I
Yeah, you
did
can.
the one thing that I did find out about, not to just besmirch the name of Andrew Huffman, but one thing that I did find out was that
He cheated, that fuck.
a few months earlier, he got himself into trouble at a different teenage drunken party.
Tell me it's the same situation. Tell me he won.
Well, he got
beer
charged.
pong.
No, he got charged. I don't.
He
so.
won another round
He
of
got
beer pong.
charged-
He was talking mad shit.
He got charged with underage drinking. There were like several it made mention of one particularly inebriated 15-year-old girl at this party. So, we've all been there.
Fillet him.
I've been an inebriated 15-year-old girl. I have not, but we've all been at that house
yeah,
party.
I mean,
as
they're all
teenagers.
minors, like
Yeah.
teenage house party drunkenness.
Right.
Honestly, he sounds cool.
Yeah, he probably was. And chicks dig scars, buddy.
He's fucking crushing beer pong. He's getting in trouble with the cops.
I
2
got
parties in
stabbed,
1
baby.
week.
He's like, you don't understand me.
Yeah, you know that fucker Andrew Wankaski? Yeah, he's fucking stabbed me, bro. I survived.
him.
I survived. Beer pong
You
champion.
know the North Tonawanga slasher? I was the only victim. I
was
survived.
the only victim and I survived.
That's crazy.
If he ever gets out, I'm coming for him.
So yeah, Wankaski was arraigned on charges of second-degree attempted murder, second-degree assault, criminal possession of a weapon.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was remanded to Niagara County Jail on $20,000 bail.
Seems low.
That it? Yeah, I was just gonna say.
It does kind of seem low, but he's 17, so
He's the mayor's son.
I don't know, mommy and daddy.
all the rules kind of change when it's underage. Honestly, all the rules change a lot when they're under 18.
Mm-hmm.
The case kind of ends there. I did see an article where he was offered a plea deal, and his legal counsel was negotiating that. So I can only assume he took the deal because there's not much. If he was tried as an adult and he served any sort of prison time or jail time as an adult, then you would have been able to find that, but I couldn't find anything. So I'm assuming there was probably a plea deal where everything got,
I was really,
sealed.
hoping that he spent like 7 or 8 years in jail and then came out with like a vendetta.
Yeah. Well, if he's
the North
if he's
Tonawanga
17
killer.
and he takes a plea deal, his lawyers would almost like 100% say, okay, well, we're going to seal everything, because he's a minor, and also
And the union, the union will
Bonus
cover that. The
that-
mining union.
and bonus
That's
then
the
it
last
doesn't
one I'm
affect
doing.
his
I'm sorry.
work.
That's the
Well,
last
thank
one.
God, because the rest of
Is
them don't.
unional a real word?
No,
Okay.
I think he was saying union will, not union apostrophe ALL.
Unional.
The
I don't-
union will.
No, that's
pay
exactly what I thought you
For
said.
it. You said the union will pay for
The
it.
union will pay for it. The miners' union.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
The Miners Association
I
of
thought you were
America.
combining urinal and union.
The union urinal.
So
That's
he was leash, So, so leash is our safe word. Did we say that at the top?
We
of it?
didn't. That was
okay.
totally off.
If
mic.
somebody's going to be listening to this and be like, why do they keep saying leash? That's our safe word tonight. So yeah, probably more than likely
Our
they
dungeon
took the plea.
master brought a safe word.
Yeah,
in.
she did. She brought
That's
a-
the energy we've
I
got for
did.
tonight's episode.
So if anything, they probably took the plea deal. The plea deal involved sealing all this stuff so that it wouldn't affect him later on in life. So except
Oh God.
for he was arrested last month in September 2nd, 2024 on aggravated harassment charges. I don't know what that means, but he's aggravated harassment.
Another ping pong debacle.
He's standing outside Andrew Huffman's house, just
bouncing ping pongs off his window.
Andrew Huffman's like, I've got a family now. Shit, the baby's asleep.
No, Andrew Huffman's like got a shotgun
She's
inside.
only 2 months old. Fucking God, get over it, Winkowski.
Like, take the baby in the basement. I got this. Chunk, chunk. I've been waiting for this fucker.
Yeah, I don't know what takes regular harassment to aggravated status, but
You've got to be really pissed off.
but he got it, baby. So yeah, that's the story of Andrew Winkowski and the beer pong bro down, as I like to call it. Except bro didn't go down, did he?
No, he didn't. No.
Dun,
No,
dun,
Huffman
dun,
Huffman took it like a champ.
He did. So kudos to you, Andrew Huffman. As long as you're not still hanging out with inebriated 15-year-olds, you're good in our book, I think.
It's fun. We have a guest coming this week for our next episode. I'm not going to elaborate on it, but that guest and I, there was a big party at his apartment complex that was like a frat house when we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And we were playing beer pong in the hallway of this apartment complex, which was fucking rad. And I saw a girl punch our guest right in the face, which was
Hell yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna bring that up when he's in town.
Excellent. You know, it only takes 2 pounds of pressure to push your nose into your brain.
That's true. It only takes 7 pounds of pressure to rip a human ear off.
I think it only takes like 7 pounds to break a collarbone too. Get a good hold of that fucker.
Yeah, 7 pounds
Yoink real hard.
was a Will Smith movie.
Oh, well. We all know your love for Will Smith.
I do love Will Smith.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Would you like to get on to the next one?
Go ahead, say leash.
All right. Is that like in lieu of say less? Say leash?
Sure.
I love it.
It's coined now.
God, her voice is like sweet, sweet honey just being poured into my ears.
It's nice. It's usually just us, my nasally Midwestern bullshit versus his just boisterous
Whatever it
accents.
is. My boisterous accents. If you really want to hear the full gamut, it's Wacky Disasters. Was the one when I was editing, I was like, why every single one of these I'm doing a different accent.
Maybe
Like,
when
I'm
you do
doing a
the-
different impression.
When you do the Liam Neeson as the mayor of Dublin, and that one is really particularly good.
And-
Honestly, I played a D&D campaign where he would roll for accent. So every time he introduced a new character, he would roll, and then that would determine what the accent was. And I feel like you could put that here.
That's intense.
I don't
Hold on
know.
a second.
I
Do
feel
you
like
know 20 accents? We could use a smaller die.
I could probably figure out 20
we
different
didn't
impressions.
decide what numbers correlate with what accent. You're rolling too soon.
No, I was gonna just see what my charisma was.
6 is my lucky
Ooh, I rolled a
number.
20 to Liam Neeson.
Would you boys like to hear the next one?
Yes, please.
We have a story about Monopoly.
That's why you were saying that earlier.
That's a tragic one.
Oh no.
It is actually extremely
Say
tragic.
Oh
conflagration.
God.
The great
He's like, it's actually an
conflagration.
understatement.
So yeah, get your yucks out now before we talk about the great Monopoly massacre.
Oh God.
Yeah, the case was actually called something about the Monopoly killer.
Oh shit!
This is a real thing. This is only one of like a handful of Monopoly tragedies that I found.
Monopoly related
Shit.
murders.
There should be a warning on the box. This is America.
People done been murdered for this motherfucker is what it should say on the box.
They done been murdered. Oh no.
Not everyone passes go. Not everyone collects $200.
Yeah, right. No shit. So we got to go back to July of 1991 for this one. So we're going back 33 years, right?
Wow, y'all were probably alive.
I was. I remember a bunch of 91
I
stuff.
was 3 or 4 years old.
I was 10.
It was but an idea.
but a twinkle.
But a twinkle
But a star in the
in me
sky.
father and mother's eyes.
What?
I was just a twinkle in me father's eyes.
This is a swimmer.
I was just a swimmer in me father's bowls.
Arguably, same, but different.
Same.
Yeah.
But it starts as a twinkle and then it navigates down to the balls. So
Sun.
so we're in July of 1991, right? And we are in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Bensalem.
Is it one word?
It's one word. Bensalem.
Bensalem.
I don't know. Honestly, if you live there, send us a
Correct
message.
us.
Call it Benzie.
Send us a message on delete everything podcast at gmail.com. Yeah.
Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments on Spotify.
Put it in the comments on your fucking 5-star review, motherfucker.
Just like when you look
That's
up
how
how to
people-
pronounce a word.
That's how
and
people
they,
from Pennsylvania talk to each other. I'm not being mean. That's just how they speak to one another.
Okay.
Put it in your fucking review.
Been to many
I know, I'm kidding,
Pennsylvania-based.
I'm kidding.
Leash.
Okay. So it is July 1991. We are in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. And we're talking about two guys. Mark Sinkowski, who's 25 at the time, and Michael Kluznik. I'm going to call him Michael Kluznik. There's a lot
Is it
of
C or a K?
there's a K at the beginning, there's a K in the middle, there's a Z in there. There's a lot of letters that feel like they're not necessary, but
How's it spelled?
Klukznik.
Kluznik.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I was just backing it up. I'm good at like Polish names. I don't know why. I am.
Okay.
I had a crush on a girl in high school that had a Polish name.
They are both.
He's like, I studied.
They both have very Polish names. Mark Sinkowski and Michael Kluznik. Sinkowski's 25, Kluznik's 31. So they decide to play a friendly game of Monopoly, right? But so there's one thing you need to know about these two guys. They're best friends, right? Mm-hmm. These two best friends are known for a couple of things, right? One is that they got together pretty much every week to drink excessively and play board games. Pretty much every week they'd have friends over, they'd drink a whole bunch, they'd play some board games, right?
Sounds like a solid couple of guys.
On the weekly, right? Two is that they argued about virtually everything.
Yeah. Old married couple friends. I got one of those.
I'm not entirely sure what two guys in their late 20s, mid 20s, early 30s argue about in 1991. What is
Pearl Jam's 10.
What about it? What are you going to argue about it?
Which track is the best one?
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, I guess Mother Love Bone would be better.
This is so cute. I feel like I'm watching it reenacted. In
Pearl Jam 10 was out. Pearl Jam 10 was out in
91.
You're like, who's better, MC Hammer? No, dude, fucking Vanilla Ice.
91.
No,
Are we in Reality Bites territory there? Or is that later?
I'm not sure when that movie came out. I want to believe that a lot of them, like one of them was an Eagles fan and one of them was a Steelers fan. And
you argue about Star Wars. You argue about whatever they argued about in Clerks.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, they're both wearing plaid. They're both pissed off about their Pennsylvania. So the Penguins.
There's the Penguins. Yeah.
Like, but
Penguins. Pennsylvania has the two football teams, so I desperately want one of them to be Steelers and one of them to be Eagles, and they're just like constantly on each other. I also really want for one of them to have like a Kathy Ireland poster in his room.
Yeah,
and then one of them has like a Cindy Crawford poster in his room, and they're like, "Fucking Ireland's hotter, bro," and like I want that to be.
This is a live example, audience. Right?
Yeah, you don't understand any of these references except
sure
Star
don't.
Wars.
You sure don't. Acura NSX or fucking Nissan 300Z.
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Which now you know. All right, so yeah, they apparently argued about everything, and this particular day was no different. They got together to slam some shots and fucking slam some brewskis and play Monopoly. Like Monopoly was on the docket
on
for
the table,
right? It was a Monopoly day. So I just want to throw it to you guys.
You went with docket instead of table. It was obvious.
What do you think? Okay, you win this round, fucker. What do you guys think they argued about that turned to violence?
See, 1991. What part of the year was it?
No. We're talking about Monopoly.
What about the Monopoly? What about the game?
Yeah, let's see.
One of them wanted to be the thimble.
Yeah.
The other one wanted to be the top hat.
It was over the pieces.
but they were
sure.
missing the top hat.
It is fucking amazing because that is actually what happened.
Is that really what it was?
100%. They had not even started playing the game. And they argued about who was going to get
blows.
and who was They argued about who was going to be the little car.
The little
Not the
car.
little car.
Nobody
Be
does
the
the.
little
Nobody
car.
fucking
Come
is the little car.
on. You don't want to be the money bag?
Or
I
the
don't.
fucking the dog.
The
maybe.
top hat? Hello. Better choices. Get
I don't
with
give
it.
a shit. I just like
Bunch of
like,
both. The iron. The little iron.
I don't know. I
The
don't
little
know that I
irons are good
believe
one.
that you don't give a
I
shit.
really
I
don't.
feel like if we pulled out the Mario,
I
the
give-
Monopoly board right now,
I
you'd
won't
be like,
play.
I want that one.
I won't play. I get real shitty with Monopoly.
Yeah, I'm a big
I won't-
thimble guy.
I'm not allowed to
You're a
play
thimble
I
guy.
mean, a thimble guy. You know they don't
You're
do
a thimble
the.
guy.
They don't have the thimble in the new editions of Monopoly.
Because people don't know what
They don't know
thimbles
what the
are.
fucking thimble is,
You
which
know what
seems
made me
crazy
really
to me.
Sad?
Hmm.
Have you guys ever played Clue?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you remember when they would make the figurines of the people?
Yeah.
Now they just do the sorry little things.
And the little
They
guys,
don't
the
even
little
make the
like
people
they look like little
anymore.
chess pawns.
Isn't that kind of
They
fucked up?
they also took one of the
Huh.
one of the characters they took out.
Professor Plum, no.
Honestly,
It was
it's
like-
the diversity. They're trying to make it more diverse.
They're trying to make it more
so
diverse, but they took out like I think it was Miss White.
probably it's too
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's Miss Lesbian.
Yeah, that was the diversity they were going for.
So
Anyway, off topic. Leash.
yeah, absolutely. Just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep getting whipped over here by Jay. So
I'm sorry, Ms. Lesbian.
that's right. You're
You
not
don't
wrong.
know.
You're not wrong.
You
That's
don't
correct.
know.
That's correct.
You really don't know.
So apparently, Klesnik grabbed the car first and
Oh.
said, "I'm going to be the car."
Oh.
Right? Sinkowski argued that
Said,
he wanted to
"Fuck
be.
you."
Sinkowski argued that he wanted to be the car, and they were at his house. So I'm the fucking car, dude. Like we're at my house. I'm going to be the car.
Grab 2 different Hot Wheels and call it a day.
No shit, right?
You know they have them.
These are big children.
Just go grab them. Like it's okay. They can fit on the board.
Go grab the
Wherever
coolest
the
thing.
engine is what square you're on.
Yeah, go grab whatever the fucking coolest thing you have in your house is, and be like, "This is me."
Imagine it's
They're
a
not gonna be able
dildo
to
that like
fit an
suctions
entire,
to the
like-
wall. He's like, there it is.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to fit an entire like autographed Bret Hart framed poster on the fucking Monopoly board. The coolest thing in the house in the 91.
fucking Ace Frehley signed guitar, bro.
It's not gonna-
This means I don't know.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, that's
Ace Frehley was from Kiss. Bret Hart was
Poison.
Poison.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
That was Poison, right?
Yeah. Every rose has a thorn.
Yeah.
Is that Bret Michaels?
No, that's Bret Michaels.
Sounds Bret Hart. He's a wrestler.
Bret Hart was a wrestler. Yeah.
That's so cute.
That one of the wrestlers that died.
You guys are like an old
It was
married
Owen Hart.
couple.
Owen Hart.
It's
Yeah.
so
you
nice
just
being
fucked
the
all
third
this up.
wheel.
Okay, so anyway,
I can't fit a VHS of. I don't know.
Yikes. He's like, not on my ass.
my ET
He has
VHS
lube
is
for
here.
that.
I do.
That was pre-recording. Sorry.
So Sinkowski was like, "We're at my fucking house, fucker. I get to be the car, right?" And I guess he was like, "You be the thimble, fuckface." I don't know what I don't know how this conversation
Very
goes
aggro.
before the game even starts. I've never had that argument. I don't think. Maybe when I was little.
I don't really even have a Philly accent that I could throw down.
When
on
I
that.
had like a dog in the fight of like what my piece was going to be. Now, like the last time I played Monopoly, I feel like she's like, everybody pick their fucking piece. I'll just grab whatever's left.
Last time I played Monopoly, I hated it and I left before it was over.
Same.
I like
almost
the
flipped the
Monopoly
table over.
with the credit cards because it gets really annoying when you have like all of these pieces of paper.
Oh,
you're trying to keep track.
There's a fast
Yeah,
form
right.
Monopoly with like the just.
I
card
always
shuffle.
played the fast way,
Yeah.
and you
Huh.
pick like 3 random territories to start with.
Yeah, and
Weird.
you finish it in like 30 minutes. Or something.
Oh, that's the way to do
It's
it.
way more realistic.
Yeah, which is just actually the way that world finance has gone.
Okay.
You know, now with apps and
Lo-
So you start the game.
Loans.
So you start the game as a child of privilege who has just inherited all these
Correct.
properties, right?
Yeah, you get an
Right.
iPhone, you got
Honestly, I
Cash
have
App.
the money
Yeah.
to buy the game.
Right. so Sinkowski's like, you be the thimble, fuckface. So I feel like there's a pretty simple solution to this disagreement, which is who fucking cares what piece you are?
Play something
should
else.
basically
WrestleMania's
be
on.
yeah, that should basically be the end of it. But that is not what Klesnik said. He said, "Oh well, I'm several inches taller than you and outweigh you by about 50 pounds," and he fucking punched him in the face.
Yeah, like you do, like you
Love
do.
that,
He
yeah.
punches Sinkowski in the face and says, "No, I'm the car."
Oh.
Right? I'm the car fucker.
Vroom
Punch him in
vroom,
the face.
bitch.
At this point, like you're bleeding from your nose. Like I feel like game night's over at that point. I'm like,
Yeah, you flip the table.
Everybody
You-
fucking go home.
You flip the table and you
Get
tackle
the
him.
fuck out of my house, right?
Not in D&D, but yeah.
Sinkowski decides, nope, I'm still going to be that goddamn car. Goes to his room to retrieve his compound bow and proceeded to shoot an arrow directly through Klesnik's heart.
Jesus Christ.
It's the aim for me.
Yeah, so not to be deterred,
Wow, impressive.
not
Shot one. Sorry.
not to be deterred, Klesnik sat down and collected his rent from Marvin Gardens. And I'm just kidding.
Whoa, because that's the next part of the next part of like
Jay's
didn't even
eyes
get there.
Jay's eyes turned into dinner plates when I said that. No. He died. He died. No, he
I thought you
died.
meant
Yeah, he-
literal rent.
He's just like, I'm gonna be the car.
Yeah, you landed on
It's like I took your life and your wallet,
No, he
and I know your
he
code. the ATM.
Klesnik walked with this arrow in his chest, walked out the door, kind of in a straight up badass move, snapped the arrow in half as he walked, got into his car and started to drive.
Damn.
No way.
And unfortunately died before he made it about 20 feet.
That is pretty badass.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wanted him to start the car and get far.
He started the car and started
Man.
to back
And
up.
in
I
my
think he
head
died
right
pretty much
now,
when he hit
in my head right now, like in the scene, he just snaps it. He's pissed off, blood coming out of his mouth. Gets in the car, starts. It's a Trans Am. Peels out into the back, and then just like crashes and stops. And the dust is kicked up on the road, and the headlights are shining, and you hear like out the window just like, every rose has its thorn.
Can we just talk about the irony of him dying in a car?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, god damn, you're a good guest.
I got the car
Yar.
after all, fucker.
Dang.
Or
so good.
honestly, in a true badass move, like my final move would be like, oh, I'm about to die. Just put it in drive and straight through the front of his fucking house.
Wait,
Yes.
can we take 2
Did I land
seconds to
on the
ask
Monopoly
that
board?
question? What is your epic death?
Oh man.
I don't have one.
You don't have an epic death
I don't think so.
that you're wishing for yourself?
No.
No?
Oh no, I've got a pretty classic male gaze epic death. It's like
Go ahead.
it could be any sort of thing.
You
Usually-
want to die with male gaze?
No. Oh, I see. Okay.
It's
It was
good.
punny.
That was good.
Yeah. No, I actually want to
I
know your
want to
answer,
let
though.
let the things you love kill you. No, I've got your pretty standard, like post-apocalyptic. It could be zombies. It could be like like a warring tribe or something. But like
Just
I
some
want
dystopian shit.
I want to do the Armageddon where there's like a lottery to see who's going to stay behind and like keep the fucking Visigoths or whatever from overpowering the wall.
You're back. Fuck.
And I like helping that guy who over there, and then I push him over, and I was like, get my family to safety, and then they take my kid and shit and get out of there, and then I do the final face-off thing. That's the one I want.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how to get to that situation. That's not very common.
For so many reasons.
But the I'm gonna stay back and like stem the tide so they can get away. That's that
Giving hero.
or busload of orphans is gonna go off a cliff, and I'm like, and they get the fucking.
Such a specific scenario.
And you're the
That's
hero.
what
You have a
everyone
hero.
is.
You have a hero complex.
Yeah.
You want to do something heroic.
So
I get
very
you.
Yeah.
clear. No, it makes sense, Bard.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Well, listen, we've got
Also a big fan
we've got a man in a Trans Am with an arrow sticking out of his
That's
chest.
pretty
that's
badass.
just Still
Pretty
hanging
badass.
out here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to get back to him?
Huh? I want
Go
to talk
ahead.
about different scenarios in which I could die. Fighting a bear, just fucking knife.
No. not
Maybe
the
a knife and a
Revenant.
spear,
Leash.
or like maybe a pack of wolves, a whole pack. Just need to get a couple of them.
Oh boy, you won't survive a pack of wolves. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I only need to get a couple of them, and then they can,
Oh, okay.
they can take me.
So, anywho, Senkowski has just shot a fucking arrow through his best friend's heart.
Terrorist attack, like a bunch of terrorists like take over like a building or something like that, and like an active shooter scenario, and then I single-handedly.
I didn't
take
realize
them
how
out.
far we went back.
Yeah, just-
I think we're on a different path.
We're in the present day, bud.
Would you like to rejoin us?
Maybe
Fast.
when I was in school, I'd always think about like an active shooter thing, and then I'd be like the hero that like saved everybody.
Just don't react. Just don't give him what he wants.
There's also just a real good just being dead. That's
That's kind of where I'm at. So, all right. Senkowski confessed to the murders.
Damn.
He was convicted of
murder. Just the one.
Or the murder, I'm sorry. I wrote murders for some reason. He confessed to the murder and was convicted of third-degree murder, sentenced to 9 to 25 years in prison.
Hold on a second.
That's
Third
a
degree.
big gap.
Third degree. That's not premeditated, right?
That
9
is
to
not premeditated.
25.
Yeah, that's not
I feel
premeditated.
like going to a different room and getting the weapon and then shooting the.
But it was in the moment. It wasn't
if you
planned.
if the intent wasn't to, if your
premeditated.
if your legal team can prove that it was not with the intent to kill.
He shot him
intent to-
directly in the heart.
But it wasn't
You could argue that
implies,
wasn't
like
intentional.
time and consideration.
Yeah,
in
you
the
could argue that
murder.
wasn't intentional. You could argue he was just pissed
It was
off
in
and
the
he was
heat of
just
the moment.
he
He's
punched
like,
me in
"That's
the
my
face."
car, bitch."
Yeah,
I could have gotten him more.
he punched me in the face.
Oh, I'm sure.
He punched me in the face in my own house, and I went and got. I just saw red. I went and grabbed my bow and just shot an arrow at him. I didn't know it was going to go through his
Crazy
heart.
that he had a bow and arrow.
It's Pennsylvania. He's probably a deer hunter.
I got a bow and arrow on my front porch.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got like a fucking like.
Like I've got a recurve. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got like a.
I'll
like
go
you're
for
gonna
that mechanical robot
fucking
bullshit.
Explore Middle Earth with
Yeah.
your fucking bow.
Oh, fun fact information. I learned this in my studies today. Do you know what the name of the planet that Middle Earth is on is called?
No.
It's called Arda.
The fuck?
Yeah.
One more time.
Arda. A-R-D-A.
Arda.
It's the planet Arda. On the planet Arda. But that is the world, the planet. It's a planet in Ea,
Oh boy! All right.
which is the galaxy.
Riley
I
forgot
believe,
to take his riddle
where all the
before we
people
started.
of Middle Earth and Aman live.
Okay. We still have a whole bunch of this Klesnik Sinkowski murder to get through.
Okay.
And pop your fucking riddle in. And artifacts pertinent to you right now?
Or
Or
you tried so hard to make that work.
I did.
I know.
All right. His lawyer, a fella named Mark I. Rickles.
That's not real. Tell me that's not real.
That's first name, middle initial, last name.
Don
And it is.
Rickles'
You're
cousin.
messing with me. Did he go by that?
I Rickles
He
sounds like
went by
something you see.
Rickles.
I Rickles sounds like something you see like a commercial on the TV for like
An STD.
try. If you suffer from eye wrinkles, try Vingardium.
Vingardium Leviosa.
Side effects of Vingardium include
Having trouble getting out.
ass wrinkles. They just migrate. Migrating wrinkles. So Mark I. Rickles
Oing.
seemed to believe
I just fucking.
Mr. Rickles here, Esquire, seemed to think there was an additional factor that led to all of this: a female.
Oh, they're
Right.
fighting over a girl. They wanted to have the coolest car.
So apparently, Sinkowski had this on again, off again lady friend named Mira Sachs. Mira Sachs just seems like a name I could make fun of too, but
Sounds like a drag name.
Mira Sachs, yeah, it really does.
I know.
So on the night in question, Klesnik and Sachs had stepped outside. They go to the house, right, to go play board games and get sloshed, right? Klesnik and Sachs had stepped outside to smoke a joint, leaving Sinkowski and another friend alone inside setting up the game board and doing shots of Sambuca.
What is it?
What
White
is
Sambuca or black Sambuca?
that?
I don't know. It just said doing shots of Sambuca.
Reverse.
Yeah, do you know
What's
what Sambuca is?
Sambuca? No.
It's licorice flavored schnapps.
Anise flavored, please.
Oh,
It's like a Greek
licorice-
liqueur.
it's
It's got a
licorice
heavy
flavored.
anise thing to it. You
sounds
could never take a shot of
rancid.
Sambuca?
I've taken shots
I
of
like a
Sambuca.
shot of black Sambuca. Is fucking particularly good.
Yeah, I used to do
Fuck, what's the name? If you put like a coffee bean in a shot of Sambuca, it's called something.
It's called Sambuca with a coffee bean in it.
No, there's a
I know
there's a
there is.
hoity-toity bartender ass cocktail name for that.
I
can't
know. I
remember what
just
it is.
don't think that's cool. So I'm gonna call it a Sambuca with a shot with a bean in it.
Sambuca Jay, you
beans.
might not know this about me, but I was a fancy schmancy cocktail bartender for a while, so I got a lot of pretension attached to this whole.
Yeah.
I'd believe you if you could remember what the name of this one was.
It was a long time ago. I quit to do physical labor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Smart.
yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I can't use my left shoulder anymore, but at least I'm sober.
So Sinkowski and this other friend were inside setting up the board and slamming shots of Sambuca, I guess. And that annoyed, like, I guess his currently on again girlfriend, Miss Sachs, is outside with his best friend while they're setting up the game board.
It's like,
And
I
guess
want
that was-
Sachs.
Oh, no.
I want to have sex. Why does he get to have sex?
So in a truly, truly profound quote from Mr. Rickles, he said, "A lot of people get killed over a lot of stupid things. It's unfortunate and it's sad. They were friends and now one of them is dead." That was his quote. That's
All right,
That's-
Captain Obvious.
I mean, that's the book cover quote right there. That's a good like.
incidentally, Mr. Senkowski is apparently out of prison. Which makes sense. I think the case closed in '92. He got 9 to 25 years. So even if he filled or done the full 25, he'd be out by now, right? 92 to 92. We're less than 25. Yeah.
What year
yes.
is this?
91.
No, what year is this?
24.
Oh, yeah. It would
So
be
yeah,
that.
see, even if he did all 25 years,
Look
he'd
at
be
us
out already.
doing math together.
Well, it makes
Good
sense.
brains.
He's actually got I found his Facebook page.
Yeah.
He
You
does have a
did?
Facebook page.
Oof, did you friend him?
No, it's got 2 posts on it. He hasn't put anything on it. It's in like
You should invite him to like the podcast.
I could.
Tell us why you wanted the car.
I don't know. Are you ever ready to laugh about murdering your best friend, whether accidental or on purpose?
If you get away with it,
It sounded pretty.
He
on
didn't. He went to
purpose.
prison for
Well, then-
He was
undisclosed amount of time.
successful.
Maybe he's
That's
healed.
the same.
He-
Ooh, can you heal?
like I said, are you ever ready to laugh about that situation?
I think he's probably ready to laugh again.
Then I'll send him a link.
I mean, don't do that. That's awful.
It really is. It really is.
Watch him listen to this, Loki.
That kind of brings us to our main story of tonight, because I had one that just had so many crazy, ridiculous things going on that I was like, this has to be the focus of tonight, right? So this one takes place in Florida, which surprisingly not all of them take place in Florida.
People are weird everywhere, not just here.
That is true. That is. You know who was the winner? What state was the winner of like the crazy game night tragedies? Utah. Utah had like multiples.
I can see that.
I was like, oh, okay,
Mormons.
yeah, I guess so. Jesus, those LDS fuckers are getting raw on game night.
Dang. Cross me.
So yeah, this happened in Cocoa Beach in 2008. So like literally just a couple hours away from here. This was on October 23rd, 2008. Okay. So again, I'm going to set the stage a little bit. So Richard Fortner, 70 years old, and his wife Geraldine invited their friends Chris and Barbara Kashnick over, right? As well as Glenn Northcraft and his wife Donna. Okay. Now, Chris and Richard are like best friends, right? And we'll get into that a little bit more in a second, right? Richard and Geraldine invite 2 other couples over so they can all play Phase 10. Phase 10, which if you don't know, the cards look kind of like Uno cards. It's another like version of Rummy. It's like a spin-off of Rummy, right?
Okay.
So it's a bunch of old people, 3 couples, 6 people in their late 60s, early 70s are all getting together at Richard and Jerry's house for some Phase 10, right? In Cocoa Beach. So at some point during this game, an argument arose because Fortner got pissed off. Richard Fortner got pissed off and accused Chris Kashnick, his best friend, of helping Donna Northcraft cheat. And so by the way, I listened to so the good thing about this case is that a lot of the case stuff, like all the trial documents and stuff like that in Florida are a lot easier to get. It's like the public record, like public records differ from state to state. So no shit, I sat and like watched video and like read like trial documents and stuff. Like, yeah, I literally like deep dove into this because like
Hell yeah.
I started thinking this was gonna be like kind of the lamest one, and
Bunch of old people playing rummy, whatever.
and well, yeah, that's what I was like, Phase 10, nobody fucking knows that shit, and I've seen it. When I saw the cards, like I was like, I recognize that game, but like I don't know the game. I've never fucking played the game. I've never played Phase 10. I don't know shit about Rummy. I like, you know, and I was like, this will be one we kind of like snap through real quick. And then I started reading, and I was like, oh, this is insanity. So Richard Fortner, which I'll just call him by his last name, right? Fortner gets angry at Kashnik because he's helping Donna Northcraft. He's not helping cheat. Like, I listened to the testimony, he was kind of just like giving her strategy for like, no, hang on to that card. Like, don't, like she'd go to like discard something, and he'd be like, no, hang on to that because, blah, blah, blah. So Richard
can't help.
Right. So Richard Fortner got upset about this. And so again, listening to all the testimony and stuff, it seems like Richard, by the way, and I was like, oh, Dick Fortner, Dick. And I was like, I'm going to call him Dick, right? And then I'm watching the testimony, and they're all calling him like Dick or Dickie, like that's like. And I was like, oh, he's already a dick. He's already going by Dick. Like, so that gives you sort of an insight into the man.
Sounds like a little stinker.
I want to, and I'm going to go ahead and say he's the villain of this story, just FYI, right? Okay. So I was like, I want to call this guy Dick Fortner, and then I'm watching testimony, and they're like, yeah, so Dickie did this, and I'm like, oh, he already goes by Dick. So I know everything I need to know about this man, right? So I'm going to call him Dickhead Fortner. But anyway, so Fortner's pissed off, and listening to the testimony and stuff, it seems like this guy had sort of this obsession with everyone following the rules, right? Everybody's got to, so and Chris Kashnik, his best friend, there were stories in the testimony of like, they'd go play golf, right? And Richard Fortner would get pissed off that something happened. The golf game didn't go his way, or he felt like somebody was, doing whatever, and he'd like start getting in people's faces. Like Chris Kashnik was always the guy who had to like go, okay, calm down, like come on, whatever. And like so, like listen to his wife's testimony where she was like, Chris was always the guy who was, and there were like issues in the neighborhood with him yelling at kids and stuff, and the neighbors would have to come and like sort of smooth everything over. And he was that guy. He was a 70-year-old fucking babies. Yeah, he was a 70-year-old pissed off guy. He like tried to chase some kid on a longboard or some shit like that. He had an issue with kids riding bicycles down the sidewalk. Dude. There were many issues that came up in this trial. So you kind of get a feeling for what type of guy he was, right? So, again, Kashnik is helping Donna Northcraft, and Fortner thinks that there's some cheating going on, even though it was mostly just Kashnik saying, hey, like, save that one, because if this happens, then you can do whatever.
Standard, like, table game.
Just being a helpful, just courtesy. Six friends sitting around. They were all friends from, like, the Moose Lodge, right? They all went to the fucking Moose Lodge together, right? So, according to the testimony, the game ended, right? They got done with the game, and there were some sort of angry words that were exchanged between yes,
conflagration.
Then I got to think of a third word. So there were some angry words that were exchanged between Fortner and Kashnik, and that resulted in Fortner telling Kashnik to get out of the house, right? And he was like, so
out of my fucking house, Dickie.
And I don't know, there never in the testimony did they say exactly what words were said up until the point where Fortner basically said something along the lines of, you motherfucker, nobody talks to me like that in my house. Like, get the fuck out of here. If you come back, I'll kill you.
Ooh. Okay. Fortner said that?
Fortner said this to Chris Kashnik.
Dun, so they were at Dickie Fortner's house.
They were at Dickhead Fortner's house.
Okay.
And this was,
I feel like calling him Dickie makes him like less like
it's not
it's
right.
like belittles him.
So
little Dickie.
So some of the people who testified, the people who were there, called him Dick.
Dickie.
Some of them called him Dick. Most of them called him Dick. Glenn Northcraft called him Dickie, and I guess they had been buddies for a while, or whatever. So he called him Dickie. But at any rate, so he says, you motherfucker, nobody talks to me like that in my house. Get the fuck out of here. Or if you come back, I'll kill you. Right? So at the time when all this was kind of, the game had ended, this verbal back and forth started, Barbara Kashnik got up to go use the restroom. Mm-hmm. Right? So she was there sort of for the beginning of it, and she was like, let's just go. Went to the restroom, and that's where she was, right? In the meantime, Chris Kashnik and Dickhead Fortner, the argument sort of escalates, and both men stood up they were all sitting at a dining table, right? So they stood up from the table, and they're kind of facing off a little bit. There was never any sort of actual, swings, like punches thrown, but they're standing face to face. They're having words, yada, yada, yada. And Kashnik kind of like laughed the threat off. If you come back here, I'll kill you. He kind of like laughs it off.
Yeah,
and he's
whatever,
like,
Dickie.
Right. He kind of laughs it off and he heads toward the door, right? The entryway. So at that point, when he was like kind of, what the fuck ever, I'm not sure exactly what he said, but at that point, Richard Fortner gets up and walks toward the bedroom. Now I'm going to give you a brief, just reference points, right? So there's a dining room, right, with an entryway into the kitchen / living area, and then
Colonel Mustard,
and then and then a hallway, and then beyond that a hallway to the bedroom, right? Bedroom, bathroom, all that stuff, right? I'm assuming
beyond.
Multiple bedrooms. And beyond, there's a room where you walk in and you're just floating.
we almost got a legitimate spit take out of Jay there.
It's the game room.
Yeah, there's one room where you walk in and you're just floating through the liminal space, and there's nothing
in between dimensions.
The best game of Phase 10 ever.
Just floating through. So, and then in that living area is a door to the garage where everybody had come in and out, right? They didn't use the front door proper. They used the garage door, right? So Chris Kashnik is sort of milling about in this living area by the door. Barbara's still in the restroom, right? Fortner gets up to walk toward the bedroom. At that point, Geraldine and Glenn Northcraft are in the kitchen, right? So we've got dining room where they were all playing, kitchen next to that, living area attached to that, hallway, bedroom beyond that. Okay. So Geraldine kind of heard the threat, saw him go toward the bedroom, and clocked it. I guess clocked it. She had a lot of stories in her testimony about like, if they would go on a trip, he'd always have to have the gun under the car seat. He was just one of those dudes, right? He's just like, I guess, always ready to fucking pop off. So as Fortner is walking,
as dicks are want to do,
dicks do be popping off, is what they say.
Not in testimony. Oh no,
this dick's always ready to shoot.
Geraldine, 70-something years old, is like, Dick's always trying to pop off.
I was going to say, Geraldine.
Oh, Jerry.
Oh, no.
No, Jerry. By the way, by the time of the court case and the testimony and everything, she had left Richard Fortner and, like, gotten rid of his last name, and she's Geraldine Bloomquist or something like that at that point.
Good for her finding love.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she just like reverted back to a previous name or found someone else.
We can have hopes and dreams.
There's Cocoa Beach. She got on a cruise. Maybe got ready to mingle. She found
After
a Bloomquist
that,
somewhere. Yeah.
She deserves it.
I got on a Carnival cruise and I met the new love of my life. His name's Dick too.
The pool boy.
Jesus. So as Fortner's going to the bedroom, Barbara Kashnik comes out of the bathroom and she's walking back toward the living area. They pass each other. No words exchanged. Whatever. Geraldine goes to the bedroom because Barbara mentioned something about I need my purse, and the purse was apparently in the bedroom. So Geraldine goes into the bedroom to get the purse. Sees Dickie milling about doing stuff. Wasn't exactly sure what he was doing, but I'm guessing she was sort of suspicious enough because when she left the room before him, she closed the door and held the door in place, right?
Oh.
Ooh. She's like, I've seen this. I've seen Dickie be like this before.
Right. So she went to the bedroom to, quote unquote, get Barbara's purse and probably try and keep Richard there, but based on what we know. So she's in the process of trying to hold the door closed. And here's where we see old Dickie Fortner at his finest. So he gets to the door, opens it. I'm guessing feels some pressure. He fucking rips the door open out of her hand. So she kind of stumbles backwards because he's pulling the door, the bedroom door open. She stumbles. He slams her into the wall with as he's marching past her.
What?
Slams her into the wall. Yeah. Oh, it gets so much worse. I mean, these you have to keep in mind, like, I've seen all these people's faces. Obviously, you have not, but these are elderly people.
Who's
Like,
the
these
hottest
are
one?
in their oh man,
Geraldine.
I feel like
She
Geraldine.
got the pool boy.
You can see that Geraldine was a straight up fox.
The remains of
At
a
one
fine
point-
woman about Geraldine.
Yeah, she was. You can tell she was a fox. I feel like Barbara kept the youth a little bit better, but I'm not sure what the age disparity between the two of them is. For all I know, Barbara might be 10 years younger than Geraldine. So yeah, this is it's kind of at this point we're like, oh, okay, shit's sort of starting to pop off way worse than it needs to for a fucking game of Phase 10
Yeah.
with a bunch of elderly people. So Glenn is still in the kitchen. He sees sort of Richard yoke the door open and slam his wife into a wall as he marches forward. He comes to the kitchen and Glenn sees that he's got a fucking 38 in his hand.
Whoa.
Oh.
So Glenn,
Is that standard issue or snub nose?
I did not see the weapon, so I'm not sure.
Ah.
But
have
we're
no idea
assuming
what
a
that
38. We're assuming a 38, 5 shots. It's a 5-shot revolver.
I've watched a lot of 1940s and 50s detective movies, and the snub-nosed 38 is like the revolver, like the cops carry.
It's what you see in a lot of detective movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Oh, I know nothing about guns.
Yeah.
Sorry,
My
but I knew it
favorite-
was a gun. For
my
sure.
favorite is when you see it in movies and people take like a perfect headshot from like 100 yards out, and it's like nope. So Glenn sees the 38 in his hand and is kind of like trying to calm him down. Right around that time, Barbara, who's like, I need my purse, sees him standing in the kitchen with the pistol also, and she kind of gets in his face, and she's like, not slapping him, like just sort of like batting at him, he's like a foot taller than her, so she's a small lady.
The man with the gun.
And she's because we're assuming at this point, because nothing's happened yet, but she's assuming that this is because her husband and Fortner got into it, right? And suddenly this man comes out of the bedroom with a fucking pistol. So she sees him standing there holding the pistol. They're getting ready to leave. She's just looking for her purse. And I mean, I'm guessing this guy's probably mumbling. I mean, if he's pissed off enough that he left the room, went and got the pistol, slammed his wife into a wall on the way out, and now he's standing in the kitchen like Billy fucking badass.
He's pulling a Jack Torrance. It's just like, fucking in my house.
Yeah. So I think
Kill,
she
kill,
just
kill,
was
blood,
like,
kill.
yeah, I think she was just like, so she's kind of like slapping at him, like his chest and stuff, and like, basically yelling at him like it's just a game, dude. Like, probably not dude, but she's like, it's a game. You're playing a game. Like
Yeah,
relax.
Yeah.
Right?
Scary.
So Richard Fortner forearms her into the kitchen island, slams her fucking head into the kitchen island, and flips her over the whole fucking thing. She falls to the ground unconscious.
God damn. Just like,
What the?
Yes. Like she's smacking at him like, it's a game, relax. He fucking just yokes her, slams her fucking face and head into the countertop of the island that they're standing next to, and she flips over it, falls on the ground unconscious.
ooh.
In view, I'm assuming, of her husband Chris. Right?
God.
Yeah, so Chris Kashnick obviously at that point comes marching the fuck over.
Yeah.
He grabs the pistol from he doesn't grab the pistol, he grabs his wrist. He grabs Fortner's wrist. And so he's got both of his hands around his wrist, and he's kind of holding his hand up, and
Your classic gun struggle.
right. So he is hoisting the pistol up in the air, and Glenn Northcraft is still standing there. His wife this whole time is still in the dining room, right? Mm-hmm. While all the shit was going on, and then certainly once he came out with the pistol, she was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna keep a fucking wall between me and this guy, right? So Glenn Northcraft's watching this whole thing. A shot goes off without hitting anybody or anything like that. So then Glenn Northcraft turns around to like go to his wife and be like, Barbara Kashnik is on the ground, so she's hopefully fine. So he goes to like collect his wife. Second shot goes off. He turns around and Chris Kashnik has been killed.
Oof.
He's got a single 38 wound to the back of his head.
God damn, back of the head. So he you get the struggle.
Somehow it
and he
came
brings
down.
it down.
Somehow it came down, went right into the back of his head. So Glenn Northcraft runs to Richard Fortner and grabs him and was like, "What the hell is wrong with you? What are you doing?" Fortner slams him into the kitchen cabinets and I'm listening to Northcraft's testimony. He said, faster than you can fucking imagine, he had the pistol at my head and said, "I will kill you too, motherfucker." And so Glenn was like, what is wrong with you, man? What are you doing? And just turned away and walked away. And he said he was fully expecting a bullet in the back of the head.
Yeah.
He just watched his buddy get shot. And so he just walked to his wife, anticipating he was not going to make it. He was going to get shot in the back of the fucking head.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So obviously, by the time he collects his wife, I'm guessing at whatever point the first shot went off, somebody must have heard it and called the police because according to Northcraft's testimony, by the time he got his wife and they were like rushing out of the house, the police were already pulling out.
Started with phase 10. You really cranked it up to 11.
You fucking
that's crazy.
That shit up
and
to
those are
13.
your friends.
Yeah. So and that's the craziest part is like this all started with, hey, we're all retired
Buds,
Moose Lodge
buddy,
friends.
Pals.
There are no friends in phase 10.
Not a phase 10, not a Monopoly.
No.
And not later in Uno, you hear me?
And not a beer pong either.
No.
So obviously Richard Fortner is arrested. Now he claimed in the court case that he was defending himself. He says,
what?
Yeah, he says that Chris Kashnik attacked him, right? Which I guess there's an argument for Chris Kashnik attacked me. I guess if you don't put the asterisk there that I just bowled his fucking wife over and knocked her unconscious, like what?
Or that I had just gone to my room and gotten my gun.
Over a phase 10 fucking match.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he claimed that he was defending himself.
Easy.
It's a stand your ground state.
But you're not wrong. He was charged and convicted of manslaughter, aggravated assault over 65, battery over 65, and was sentenced to 20 years, 15 mandatory.
That's interesting. You get a different charge for battery on someone over 65 if you are also 65. It hadn't occurred to me.
Yeah. Anybody over 65, doesn't matter what your age is. Battery over 65 and aggravated assault over 65 is a different charge. It's a heftier charge.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Presumably because someone over 65, although I have seen some 65 and up dudes that could probably kick the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. It's presumably because a lot of those people don't have the capacity to be quite as physically agile and so rough and tumble.
At 16, you can get your driver's license, right?
Right.
18, you're an emancipated adult. 21, you can drink. 24, your car insurance goes down?
25,
your car insurance
That's
goes
not
down.
a thing.
Then there's nothing really until
really.
You can fucking no.
No.
There's nothing until retirement.
Nothing until retirement.
Let me
It's
tell
like
ya.
63 is the official.
I don't think you can pull full Social Security
You can't pull
benefits
full,
anymore
but you
until
can-
like
65.
67.
Whoa,
67 is full
67?
benefits.
I
but
think.
at 63 you can retire with partial benefits.
Sure.
Right,
Oh.
but then at 65, if somebody fucks with you, they get a harsher sentence. That's the other.
Yeah.
I forgot that's where you were going with this.
That's another benefit. So
or
Obviously.
early bird breakfast. You get that one in there too.
So at 72, he was convicted and sentenced 20 years with 15 mandatory.
Wow.
So the
Wow.
earliest release would be he'd be 87 years old. So, but I watched the victim impact statements at the end, and I thought that Geraldine, the wife,
She made an impact
she
in
made
the wall,
Jesus,
and then the other victim impact in the island of the kitchen.
God.
Leash.
No, she did say something that was quite impactful, and it was something along the lines of, Richard Fortner was a man who was upset anytime someone didn't play, because he asked for leniency. He even after he was convicted, and he knew it was on the table.
He says, "Your Honor, you don't understand. Phase 10 is a very intense game."
Besmirch my name.
Your Honor, have you ever played Phase 10? Do you want to come over when you let me off with time served? No. So the way it works is you get, you have your court case where you are convicted or acquitted at the end, and then sentencing usually takes place at a later date, right? So he'd already been convicted. That gives your attorneys time to sort of present mitigating evidence. The prosecutors present aggravating evidence. So to sort of go, because the sentence could be anywhere from this to that, right? So when he came back, he said, "Look, I'm 72 years old. Even if you want to throw the book at me, is that fair? Like, you're gonna make me die in prison? I'm an elderly man." He kind of played that card, right? Geraldine gets up for her fucking victim impact statement, and she was like, "This dude was so obsessed by everyone playing by the rules all the time. Now all of a sudden he killed a man, and he doesn't want the rules to apply to him." And I was like, Geraldine.
That's it, Jerry.
Slay.
Yeah.
She brought the evidence.
Jerry whipped it out and slapped it on the table and slapped it on him.
I've got this like picture in my head right now of Dickie Fortner playing like solitaire in prison in like the common room
and stabbing someone with a toothbrush.
He's just playing by himself, and like a new inmate walks past. He's like, "Hey kid, you want to play cards?" And the kid's like, "Yeah, sure." And like an older inmate like grabs him by the shoulders, like, "No,
not this one,
not today, son.
He ain't the one." What gang do you think he affiliated with in there?
Oh, I mean, Dickie Fortner.
He didn't do anything overtly racist at any point.
Obviously.
He's a Crip now.
He's out playing
you
dominoes.
Imagine he's got some fucking cornrows and a bandana on.
Jesus Christ.
Incidentally, he died 8 years into his sentence. He died in custody.
How?
Fuck that.
How?
Of being older than fuck.
Or getting
no, he wasn't.
A toothbrush shiv?
No.
Because he cheated.
It wasn't.
That would be fucking. Oh,
Meta.
God, I wish that's the way it happened. I wish he cheated at cards.
It wasn't. It wasn't anything untoward. He died because it's not easy to be fucking 80 years old in a federal prison or a state prison, rather.
Yeah, just look at Brooks from Shawshank.
Yeah, he got out and then found it hard to be out. But
exactly.
That's a different thing.
Exactly.
Have you ever watched The Shawshank Redemption?
Yes, but a very long time ago.
Okay.
Time to brush up.
Clearly.
But so
get busy living
by the
or
way,
get busy dying.
An incredible movie, and yes, you should. But at any rate,
Frank Darabont directed the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead as well.
Being 80 years old in a state, he was medium security. He wasn't max, but
it's that over 65 rule.
Being that old in a state prison is, I don't give a shit what security level you're at. It's not, you know what I mean? Like,
whatever. Fuck that asshole.
And you know what? I would like doing this, watching all the fucking court testimony and reading all these docs and everything, and like what. And I found I found his inmate number, and I went and I looked him up, and
amazing.
He's on like he's on like the dating service for prisons.
No.
Not anymore.
I like to spend quiet evenings playing cards with friends.
But I saw his photo. I don't know if it was his photo when he processed in. I don't think so, because I saw him at the sentence, during the trial and at the sentencing and everything. And he looked very different between that and the prison photo of him. And like, I kind of felt a little bit bad when I saw the photo of like the prison photo of him. Like he looked rough, and I was like, But at the same time, like, dude, like, you killed your best friend over a fucking card game, man.
I would
and
feel...
assaulted your wife and his wife and threatened your other friend with a fucking gun to his face.
Yeah,
I can't feel that bad.
I
for
would
you.
feel a little
Tough.
something if this was like a one-off, like that he'd never shown any tendencies of this, and that he's just like
Had a small psychotic break.
yeah, exactly. Like he's an old man and he had a psychotic break. I mean, these things happen.
If
The
you've,
world is
if
full
you've
of
made it to
pressures.
70 years old and you haven't had a psychotic break about anything else, then you have a psychotic break about phase 10, just fucking put me down behind the dumpster, bro.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
If I have a psychotic break over phase 10, by the way, and shoot my best friend and threaten or assault everybody else in the house over it, like, just put me to pasture, bro.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, like, if he'd like shown like signs of dementia or something, and you know, this had like some weird exacerbated thing, his fucking time in Korea was coming back to him or some shit, then like, yeah, I'd like have some form of sympathy. But no, this guy sounds like a fucking douchebag.
Yeah. By all accounts, everything we know about him is that he was. I'm sure he probably did some wonderful, nice things in his life, but in terms of how it all went down at the end, there, pretty shitty.
I think both things can be true.
Yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
We contain multitudes.
I agree.
But he also is just
because
some-
that just for any human to see that, you know, that'd be crazy.
Like
you
I
know what I
said,
mean? Like take the person out of it,
Right. Like
but
I
then,
said,
you know,
because that shit is wild. That's got to be
I
what an
can't
insane
imagine.
heightened moment.
that's why I was like, oh, this is the main story. This is too crazy. But
That's
seeing that photo at the end of,
crazy.
I felt a tinge of sympathy for him, but immediately, like, I had this very conflicted like thing going on in my brain where I was like, oh, this guy's such a piece of shit, and then I'm looking at the photo and I'm like, he looks like such a fragile old man, and I'm like, oh, but he's still a piece of shit. Oh, but look at him, and he died in fucking prison. Like,
Both
it was a
things.
tough. It was, you know.
My first job ever, I was like fucking 13, I think. I was a caddy at a golf course in Royal Oak, Michigan, and I saw a bunch of old men that would get so fucking mad about golf stuff. I actually quit.
Ridiculous.
I quit on the 10th hole, like fucking being this guy's caddy because he got fucking furious about somebody who was like yelling at me, and he like snapped a
Not
golf
at
club. And shit.
you.
Yeah, a 13-year-old kid carrying his fucking golf clubs.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was just being a fucking monster, so I dropped his shit on the 10th hole, which is, I waited until the 10th hole. I wanted to do it on the 6th, and I was like, no, I'm going to wait until he
Wait
starts
till
the
we're
second
way
round.
far
I'm
away.
going to wait until he starts the second round, and then and then I dropped his shit, and I just fucking walked off. It was, but like those angry old men, you just like, you can't really help but sort of see like there's something bad about their life. I don't know what it is, but like there's a secondary
bitter.
pressure, there's a disappointment.
I mean, I think there's
something
a
fucked.
lot to be said about the way that people were raised back then. You know, a lot of those guys came from households where, you know, mom was the caregiver and dad was just the guy that would leave to work, you know, every day, and then come home and maybe he'd be drunk and beat the shit out of me, or, you know, like,
Yeah,
not
something
to
like that.
say that applies to everyone, but that applied a lot more then than it does now.
Right.
And then shit. I mean, who's to say this guy didn't go to Vietnam, go to Korea? Who knows? I'm not sure where.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of his
just
birth
like,
date, but
to get that upset in general about anything that's supposed to be relaxing,
Right.
having friends over
Right.
for a night of cards
Right.
should not trigger just like a unbelievable rage, that
and
leads to
especially
murder.
because
That's not-
that wasn't the first
unless
incident.
it's over like the car in Monopoly, I can kind of see that.
What do you mean
just in
the
terms
first
of
incident?
that wasn't the first incident in terms of him just
Getting
losing
irate.
his temper and
Yeah.
and having to have someone there to like sort of
calm him
rein
down.
him
The fact
in.
that
Yeah.
she knew to like go and like hold the door,
Right.
practice.
right, she knew something.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's
So-
situational
I can't
awareness.
imagine, especially like thinking about how long these people have been married.
Yeah,
Like you've known them for so long to then just do that is unfathomable.
I don't think they were on not their that wasn't their first marriage. They hadn't been like lifelong married. They were remarried. So I think that
The Lobster
Richard
Boy was on his third marriage. He's still fucking.
I think
don't know if
that
you caught
Richard
episode.
I think Richard and Jerry were only married for, you know, somewhere between 5 and 10 years at that point. So
It's still a long time though.
I do still have one more.
That's good.
fun-
Yeah, in conclusion on that one, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
That's
like I
crazy.
said, it's a sort of, you know,
What year did this happen?
that happened in 2008.
2008. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
a real okay boomer moment right there.
So I picked up.
38 pistol. What an outdated gun.
Yeah, right.
What are you, Jimmy
No,
Cagney? Get the fuck out
I
of here.
had one of those, like, until not that long ago.
No.
So I picked a very special case for our last one, right?
Okay.
This one we're going to 2009 for. May 29th of 2009 to be specific. So we've got 3 guys here in the mix, right? We've got we got 3 butt naked guys lubed up and in the mix.
Yeah, was
No.
it water-based or...
Petroleum based for these 3. No, that's not petroleum based for one in specific.
Petroleum-
One specific guy for
Petroleum jelly, just a little dabble do you.
sure. Yeah, right. So we've got Daniel Shakrian. Yeah, what?
I didn't... she laughed, not me.
Oh.
That's
These
usually,
names are just wild. Not one of them is normal.
No, you're right.
usually
They're all
me.
very unique.
So we've got Daniel Shakrian, Logan Bryson, and Zachary Frank King, right?
Logan Bryson sounds like 2 kids in middle school right now.
Yeah, probably brothers. So they all got together to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey.
It's
Yeah.
a personal favorite.
2009, they're all hanging out playing D&D, right?
Yar.
So Shakrian is the DM of this campaign.
For those not in the know, the Dungeon Master is the game master that,
Right.
that dictates everything. Essentially a god.
Right. So for those of you who have never played Dungeons and Dragons, basically
with it. Get with the
is
fucking times, losers.
It's you have a dungeon master who sort of makes a campaign, or there are like pre-written campaigns that you can do, but this person sort of conducts the game and directs the game, and there are a bunch of people, as many as 2 to fucking as many as you want, who are part of this campaign, right? And
Fun fact, most tabletop role-playing games have a game master. Dungeons & Dragons is the only one that makes it kinky.
No, yeah,
Hey.
Dungeon Master. So and there's a series of dice, and you've got a lot of things. But basically, the Dungeon Master tells a story and sort of tells you where you're going, and you make decisions on the fly, and then you roll to see how those decisions. You roll different types of dice to see how those decisions affect the storyline based on your character and their particular skill set. Basically, is the watered down version. Is that?
That was excellent.
Okay.
And the god
Jay's-
takes bribes and sacrifices.
And sometimes the god takes bribes and sacrifices.
Jay's got a great game going for us right now, where we're on some sort of horrifying candy planet, and we're flying in a giant gay spaceship, and it's fun.
Oh hell yeah, nice. So these 3 fellas are playing D&D. And
I'm a half orc bard.
you've said this before.
Yeah.
Say the name.
Oh, Grognock the Horror.
Why?
Why do they call him the Horror?
Yeah.
Because he's always in whorehouses.
My penis's name is Grognock the Horror, and it's always in whorehouses. Throwback?
That was a throwback to another conversation.
That was a throwback to another episode.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one. So he got so mad that I made that joke. He's like, yeah, we heard it. So Shakrian is the dungeon master for this game, right?
Mm.
And so Zachary Frank King did not particularly like what Shakrian was doing with his character. I tried so hard to find transcripts on this. I tried so hard. I wanted to know what it was. The only thing I could find was that King thought that Shakrian was being quote unquote cocky and didn't like what he was doing with King's character, right? And I was like, God, I need to know. I need to hear testimony. I need to hear a guy on the fucking stand say, well, yeah, I rolled a nat 20 and like you just and I didn't even fucking and I had just gotten the fucking sword of illumination, and I just like I threatened a fucking bartender with it, and then it breaks. Like I didn't even get to use it in the field of battle, dude. Like I
Guy in the
wanted
stands is like, you're not supposed to threaten at the tavern. The tavern's a neutral zone.
neutral zone. Everybody knows that. So I'm just
Had a protective spell on it. I said it 5 times.
I wanted so badly to just find actual documented testimony that will be here until the fucking end of time, that someone can read back and be like, what the fuck is it? What is a nat 20? Like
What is happening?
I wanted to know, just like archaeologists in like 4,500 AD are like, they played a game where somebody told a story, and then this guy got mad that he wasn't telling the
difference?
story
Active
right?
perception,
What's
passive
that?
perception.
I
What
don't
the
understand. And look at this. Look at what he wrote. It's these ancient texts. They're illuminating. This is how humans had fun. And then sometimes they'd shoot each other over a game called Phase 10. I thought that was just a spaceship mode that we have. So all we know really is that he thought that Shakrian was being cocky, quote unquote, and was not doing as he pleased with King's character, right?
Well, he's the god of the game.
Exactly.
I was gonna say that.
So
You're like, he can say whatever, he can do whatever he wants. He's allowed to be
It's
cocky.
my world you're living in it.
no shit, right? So he gets upset and he leaves.
Oh.
He comes back around.
You're doing that like he's one of your players. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
He comes back around 1:30 in the morning and enters the house through an unlocked window.
What?
Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
Once he's inside the house, he removed his pants
What?
because he thought he was making too much noise.
Was he wearing corduroy pants?
Evidently.
Zip, zip, zip.
And he wanted to, quote, be more stealthy. So he took his pants off.
The best role.
So his pants. What you're saying is his armor was a -2 to sneak.
Yeah.
You were like a 17, 18. Like, so close.
Yeah,
but it's got to be embarrassing.
He rolled a 6 on sneak and was unsure. He was like, you know what, just to be on the safe side, I'm taking the pants
Drop
off.
some armor. Yeah.
Taking the pants off. Like, just that's gonna give me a little bit
Active choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, he's wearing like a bunch of necklaces.
They're all chain. Don't fuck with my game,
Yeah.
dude.
So he left the chainmail on underneath the pants. He
In character.
So he went into Shakrian's bedroom. He stood over his bed and he said, quote, "I hate you."
Whoa.
Then he hit Shakrian in the head with a hammer until he believed he killed Shakrian multiple times, over and over. This is all per Zachary Frank King's confession, right? So this is what actually happened. 'Cause this isn't confessing to what happened. Yes. So he stood over the bed, said, "I hate you," and started hitting him with a fucking hammer in the head until he believed that he had killed him, right?
He hadn't killed him?
Stay tuned.
Oh my god.
Maybe that hammer was above his class.
He hadn't attuned.
Jeez.
So he also said that attacking Shakrian, quote, did not make him feel better like he thought it would.
Bro.
So he went into Bryson's bedroom, Logan Bryson, and began beating Bryson in the head with the hammer.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah. Bryson wakes up. So Bryson's account of the story is that he thought it there was that moment, you know, that waking moment where you're not here and you're not there,
Yeah.
you know? And so he thought he was in a dream, and but he felt the fucking hammer hit his head and put his hands up, and it just managed to land, and I don't know if he just got it in the nick of time. He managed to grab the hammer, right?
Good check on
That's
dexterity.
what she said.
Yeah.
He did do a dexterity check on that, and he must have rolled an 18+ on that.
Managed to grab the hammer.
So he
good.
managed to grab
That
a
was-
hammer.
that was
That's
good.
what she
That's
said.
what she said.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to acknowledge that one. That's good.
Thank you.
there were two jokes that happened simultaneously,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you both get points. Points on the board for Jay, points on the board for Riley. So then Riley rolls his 20-sided die. Bryson said he didn't know exactly what was going on. He put he thought he was kind of in a dream. He put his hands up. He managed to grab the hammer. There were some punches exchanged, and he managed to throw King, into a wall, ran over and turned the light on, and saw who it was, and started screaming and saying his name, saying Zachary King's name. So at that point, Zachary King stopped and ran off, right?
Not too late now, baby.
So no shit, right? So Bryson managed to wrestle the hammer away.
Fucking alarms go off. Guards start coming out.
No shit, right? Well, no, they weren't.
Sorry, I was in game.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There was possibly also a female aspect to the Bryson attack. Not the Shakrian attack was all Dungeons and Dragons related, sadly. So Bryson and King had a thing for the same girl. And apparently, because in their world, female free will doesn't exist, they had agreed that neither of them would pursue this girl. And then King found out that Bryson was dating her, seeing her, talking to her. I don't know. But they had made a pact. Neither of us. We both like her and neither of us. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Not a blood pact.
Right. Forged in the battlefields.
The Faerun and the Sword Coast.
Yeah.
3 men.
Yeah.
So,
Torn by love.
forged in the fields of Angwar, where we stood over the vanquished, we made a blood oath that we would never pursue Jennifer. So, and apparently King was upset when he found out that that perhaps Bryson was was carrying on with this young lady, let's say, right?
Lord Bryson's been carrying on with the wench behind my back.
So, Jesus Christ. So Shakrian suffered blows to his head so forceful that emergency responders found pieces of his brain and a piece of his skull. You guys aren't reacting.
Jesus Christ.
Pieces of his brain and a piece of his skull on on his pillow and bedding.
Oh my god.
Fuck me. Pieces of his... that's fucked.
It's the skull for me. Brain makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like popping a balloon, but like actual fractures
Like a
of the
chunk
skull.
of skull?
Like
A
he was
piece-
going for it.
Piece of the bone from his skull.
Yeah.
So
Riley, are you concerned or are you eating the brain?
That's
what that
more
sounded like.
That wasn't a hunger.
by the way, guys, Shakrian's not dead.
Good.
Shakrian fucking survived this.
Hell
That's
yeah.
insane.
Lost his vision, had partial paralysis. I'm guessing some other damage in terms of what he could and couldn't do. I know he had to like
That's
learn,
horrible.
he had to like learn to read again.
Oh
like,
my
there's all kinds of
God.
shit. Yes.
Well, yeah, Braille, I'd imagine.
So
That wasn't a joke. It wasn't a joke.
no, like could
How
not
much of his
decipher.
vision did he
He
lose?
still had vision.
All of it?
No, in one eye, I believe.
Yeah, on the
He
other
lost-
side.
Yeah, on the other side, he could still read. He just couldn't decipher things. The brain, the part that processed that, he had to relearn all of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, walking, talking, the whole shebang. Like he did some serious damage, right? Bryson, by the way, did not walk away unscathed either. Concussion, whatever. Some other lacerations, whatever. 39 staples to close the wounds on his head.
Woo.
I've had staples in like
You have?
on the side of my head here. You can't see because
You
my hair
are
covers
acting like that's a totally like everybody gets staples in their head.
it. Really?
No, that's
Oh, I
the
thought
way
they
you're
did.
reacting. No. Oh my God.
You're acting as though that we're just like, yeah,
It
yeah,
is. I thought it was. I've had like from here to here. You guys can't see. It's probably about 2 inches. That was 4 staples, I think. 5 staples. So I don't know what. 39.
That's
39
a full fucking
staples.
sleeve of
Oh my
staples.
God.
39 staples to close shit up is crazy amount of lacerations on your head.
No thanks.
So King was sentenced to 2 consecutive terms of 5 to life on 2 counts. So consecutive terms. So you can either do consecutive or concurrent.
Right.
Concurrent means they run the same time. Consecutive means once one's over, you get to start the next one, right? So he got 2 consecutive 5 to life on 2 counts of first-degree felony attempted aggravated homicide, which is a mouthful, but
God.
I feel like all of those things apply. First degree,
Yeah.
yes. Felony, attempted, yeah. Aggravated, 100%.
Yeah.
Homicide, didn't quite get there, but you tried.
Yeah.
And yet another charge for being a bad sport.
Yeah.
Oh my
Not
God.
respecting the dungeon master,
Yeah.
man. So he was also ordered to pay restitution, which never makes sense to me. Like you're
Wait,
sending
what is that?
restitution, you have to pay for like if you attack somebody, if you cause damage to their home, to their body, to their whatever, you have to pay them back. we're getting ready to send you to prison, though. So you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
So he was, well, it was sort of like, if you ever get out, you have to pay restitution for like the medical bills and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I have a couple of quotes from each of the young men who were attacked. Re that particular issue. Would you like to hear them?
Yeah.
Yes.
So at King's sentencing in March, Shakrian said no matter what King's punishment, the injuries he'd suffered were irreversible. Quote, I want back the years lost and years I'm going to lose. He said, I want areas of my vision and parts of my brain back. That was his That was what he testified at the sentencing.
I want parts of my brain back.
It's a crazy sentence to say.
For real.
Bryson's reaction was equally kind of rough. He said, quote, nothing can be done to repair the damage done. Any talk of monetary damage is offensive to me. No money can take away the memory of seeing my friend Shakrian lying in a pool of his own blood with a hole in his head.
Oh my God. That's a nightmare.
That's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
I'd accept pieces of your skin bit by bit as I fillet you.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, that's a rough one.
Horrid.
Would you like to be a little bit more additionally sad?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Hit me with it.
Hold on a second. Yeah, okay.
2 years after the attack, Shakrian was found unresponsive by his mother. The cause at the time was unknown. I couldn't find any information in his obituary or anything like that. So yeah, he made it 2 years after from the attack to being found by his mother. So like the number of people that impacted.
That's a real fucking bummer, man.
Yeah, that's the last story I have.
Oh, you're gonna leave it on that one?
Horrible.
I'm gonna leave it on that one. I had some extra ones in case we needed to fill time, but I feel like this is
You have anything funny to close it out?
no. There's no. All of these are tragic. They're
Oh,
all
yeah,
tragic.
they're
Well, you know what? Hang on. Let me
horrible.
look real quick. Let me look real quick.
Oh my God. So how old was he when he died?
He was early 20s.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
He was early 20s during the attack. I want to say he was like 22-ish. So yeah, he's pretty all around just not.
Do you know how long
Cool
Zachary
and fun.
King was in jail, or if he still is?
I could not find that information. Sadly, there is another man named Zachary King, who is who kind of sucked up all the headlines because earlier this year he is a minister at a church in Lexington, Kentucky, and
All right, you know what?
was accused of. You know what he's
Yeah, I
accused
get
of.
you. Yeah,
you know what he's accused of.
Well,
He's a pastor.
This
in
has been
Kentucky.
Delete Everything. Thanks for tuning in to Game Night.
Oh my God.
Yes, thank you guys very much. Thank you to Jay for being with us here.
Yeah, Jay, hey, thanks for coming in.
Again,
Thanks for having me. I learned so much about this crazy shit. Oh my gosh. People lose it over these games.
Yeah,
no
man.
shit, right?
Yeah.
Again, if you guys like the show, the best way you can show us, the best way you can tell us is get on Apple Podcasts, get on Spotify, get on whatever you're listening to. Give us 5 stars. Leave us a review. We also have, if you want to talk to us personally, we have an email, deleteeverythingpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll send you something back. You can leave, like I said leave a review, right? Leave a review. Leave a review on those. Say what you think. Say
Leave a review,
what you
leave a
don't think.
comment. You know, it's
You just give us 5 stars if you want. Don't leave a review. Do leave a review. Say whatever.
Start a Reddit about us.
We also have social media. We have Instagram, Facebook, Threads. You can find us all on all of those. Delete Everything Podcast. Send us a message on there. Follow us. Send us a message. Say what's up. Give us ideas. If you have an idea for a show, we'd love to hear it. We are down for all that shit. If you really, really, really want to be like our top-notch BFF, we do have a Patreon. If you want to donate some money to the show, that's the way to do it. Join our Patreon. I think it's $8 a month. $2 a week. $2 a week. That's not.
Yeah.
Jay, is that a lot of money?
No.
$2 a week?
I mean,
How do
you
you feel
know,
about $2 a week?
show your dedication and love. Make a move on the Dungeon Master and subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah.
That's all the sacrifice.
I will say you're not donating for nothing. You get short episodes on there. We're going to be doing some Q&As and stuff. We have some other really cool ideas that we want to do. And we're just going to keep chugging on this. And that's... We're just going to keep chugging Sambuca.
That's what you're chugging.
Excellent.
But yeah, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Always leave it on a dick joke. Thanks. Bye.
Huzzah!
Bye-bye.
Yarg.